Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Android Authority podcast discussing topics in Android every single week. I'm your host, Joshua Vergara, and we have a very special MWC 2016 edition of the podcast for you. Now, I have to apologize ahead of time because if you're watching the YouTube version, you are seeing one of the jankiest setups that we've ever had for filming the video version of these live podcasts. We were in a cramped apartment space, one of the apartments that we were using, the smaller one, for MWC 2016, so we had to really sort of makeshift a set, and ultimately, we all were able to fit into the frame. And the other thing I have to say is, Nicole Scott of Mobile Geeks, thank you so much for letting me use your footage off of your camcorder because my DSLR was not able to make the entire 90-minute podcast. So thank you again, Nicole. You are the best, and thank you again. We have a plethora of personalities on this podcast to react to all of the things we saw at MWC 2016 after the first day of the actual conference. We have, as I said already, Nicole Scott of Mobile Geeks. We have Jaime Rivera and Michael Fisher from Pocket Now, and then Myriam Joire. And the five of us sit behind a table with all of our mics, and we have a super spirited discussion about everything that we saw at the show thus far. And we get into a super heated discussion about the launcher issue, about app drawers on the G5, the LG G5 that is, and the Samsung Galaxy S7. But those are only just a couple of the things that we talked about on this 90-minute super special podcast that I'm super happy to bring to you guys. And I do have to say, you guys should be watching the YouTube version of this because we have a ton of fun together, and you guys should really see how we all interact and how much fun we have together. So without any further ado, please enjoy this episode, the MWC 2016 first possible episode, as I may do one or maybe a couple more here at the show, the first episode of the MWC podcast series, The Quintet of Collaboration. Hope you guys enjoy.
The right thing.
That's all I'm saying.
All right.
That's all I'm saying. And I did hit record a second ago. So
Why
that's
isn't this a two-shot? Because every time I'm like,
because
I'm gonna be talking to you,
because
it's
my-
in the back of my head.
That's true, but my camera's going to die in the middle of this podcast. So I need her as a backup.
Whereas mine won't die.
I see.
So I can go all night long.
Because it's
Ooh.
it's been a long time since I've handled a camcorder.
All night.
I'm like, I can make that looks, yours clearly looks, look at the glass on yours and mine's like a
No, but that's
4-year-old
cool.
video.
My camera
so
can only go
cool.
for 15 minutes
Oh, wow.
on a single shot.
Well, it just takes practice.
Like everything
This
else.
is seriously where... This must be the weirdest setup to a podcast I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
Maybe.
But
No,
this
wait a
is-
second. The shirtless podcast in Berlin takes the cake.
Yeah, but Josh
Wait,
wasn't
what?
there.
I wasn't there.
Oh, true.
There was a shirtless.
I would have been
podcast?
shirtless as well. How the hell was this shirtless?
This is like my dream podcast.
Why was this
It's
shirtless?
a little warm in those Ibis budget
That is
hotel rooms.
dangerous.
Were you two shirtless doing a podcast?
Tony and I were shirtless for a
Yeah.
while. Oh yeah, everybody had their shirts off.
I think
In the shot.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah,
then.
you should be.
I think I'm good.
Backwards.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to block the host.
The thing is, I can't see.
Well, let me tell you something, Josh.
I can't see either.
This is what happens when I get four of my favorite people in the same room with me. Did you
true.
guys notice how I was changing the name of the chat?
Yeah.
when we were
Yes,
talking?
that was great.
Yes, we were talking about that. We didn't execute though because we didn't
I don't
know
know
what
how
the
to
cap
change
was going to be. Next thing you know, Zeman's going to be like, "Hey, what chat are you guys talking about?"
Nick Gray comes in and just.
The octuplet of excellence.
I did, You know what? I was afraid that a lot of people were going to come in because I don't know what comes after octuplet.
The problem was we were talking and he was just like, "How far can we scroll back on this chat?" I'm like, "Shit, I don't know."
Just scrolling
And we're
on back.
going. He's back in October, and I'm like cat farting everywhere.
Like, look at this picture of you lewdly eating a pretzel.
Yeah,
Really? How long has this been going on?
a while.
When did you start it?
Probably since IFA last year.
Oh,
I
it's
would
IFA.
say. Yeah.
No, not just IFA. No, it
No.
was MWC last year when we were all
MWC.
together for
Yeah.
frequencies.
It's a year-old Hangouts
Yeah.
chat. Shit.
Because the three of us were up at 2 a.m. doing both of our podcasts.
Word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back to back.
Back to
Wow.
And the beginning of the Android Authority podcast after Pocket Now Weekly happened was that phone had butt boobs.
That phone.
Oh.
Which phone had?
Yeah, what phone was that?
Ask her. It was the M9.
The M9.
Oh.
It had butt
But,
boobs.
okay, no, wait a second. I'm trying to picture butt boobs. Please,
Yeah, what's,
please provide the
Oh
explanation.
God! Well, you just gotta look at the phone. It's clearly got butt boobs.
I'll
like
drink
you
to
know
butt
when
boobs.
like
Yeah,
there's like a
yeah.
line and then your butt's
Cheers.
making boobs. It's kind of
Cheers.
like the M9.
Because wait a second. So at first we thought when the M7 came out that line in the middle was the thong.
Yeah, the thong. Yeah. That was the NFC antenna line, right?
The thong.
Yes.
The thong.
Yeah, I'm recording.
I just got to be sure because I'm really relying on Nicole's camcorder for this. And I said the word camcorder.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Sorry, my
Camcorder.
camcorder's 4 years old, guys.
Whatever,
And been
it
dropped a
works.
lot.
I can tell.
All,
Yeah.
all you have to know is there's no manual controls on that thing whatsoever.
That's
No,
that was
The
intended.
they're-
worst part about most cameras
They're
is,
hidden.
is that I can look at both of those viewfinders and be like, oh yeah, like I'm fine. Nothing. I don't have to like cover anything up or like nothing's weird. And that's because there's so much like heads-up display graphical crap on the thing. The minute I see the raw footage, it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, no, I totally like my pocket was out and I had like a white, you know. It was like, oh okay, whatever.
Okay.
I'm like, I had food on my face. Whoops.
Yeah.
I think you're okay right there. All right. It is officially 12:37 in the morning.
Jesus.
And we have all been out for
Really?
the past 3 hours? How long were you guys at
4
Ciudad
hours.
Condal?
we for what?
At least 4 hours.
That was
Oh,
the
the
name of
restaurant
place.
we were at?
Yeah, Biden.
And we
How long were you
didn't-
at Biden?
I don't know. For at least 4 rounds of jamon and.
It was good. It was a
Wait,
long
you
time.
counted the jamon? I
It was
counted
a long
the-
time.
The scotch.
Paella.
I had 2 glasses of wine and a great beer called Voldam
Mm.
with some Indian food. I had some lamb.
Thank you for
Korma.
inviting.
I did invite you
For
first of
real.
all. You weren't in the chat yet, so it was
Yeah,
still
I
the
was in the chat,
trifecta.
so-
No.
Yeah.
It was still an invitation, but we weren't in it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
That's
still existed,
perfectly
so it's just
legit.
fine.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and then it was after that you came in and made it the quartet of collaboration, and then
All right.
Myriam came in, and now it's the quintet.
That's right.
And I
Should
don't
be
even
the name
remember
of the episode.
the quintet.
Yeah.
Quintet.
The quintet of collaboration.
Collaboration.
Where's the bottle of wine?
Oh, it's here. I'm hogging it.
Okay.
Did you guys get as much work done today as I did? Because I did.
Oh, I was a
Probably
machine.
got a bunch more working. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
We had a
crap
horrible
ton
weekend.
done.
Really?
We
Well,
all-
I know you did.
Okay, we all had a horrible weekend.
I had a wonderful week. I don't know what you're
Shut
talking
I
about.
had
up.
a great week.
I showed up when half the work was already done. I had
Exactly.
a
I
great
got
time.
to play with all the
I hate
latest
you.
devices. I was happy.
Oh yeah.
That's right. You came
Good.
late.
You know that's right.
Eh.
God. You came late, and he's like, "What's up, HTC?"
I
here
understand
for
you've
the
got some new desires.
I'm here for the most important announcement of the show.
That's right.
HTC.
Don't worry. Please
Give me
continue.
that health box update.
Yeah, right.
Oh God!
Okay, so I need the one that actually calculates my body fat correctly. By the way.
Yeah, you needed to go to athlete mode.
Exactly.
Just a scale cannot tell you how much body fat you have.
No, it can't. No.
How does
If you
that
take your
work?
socks off, it's got that. No, I'm serious.
Is it
No.
What is,
galvanic?
it's the galvanic skin response.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
but
does
it's
that
it's
skin
not.
response.
No.
It's
You
not.
take your
It's
socks
not as
off.
effective
You
as
take
the
your
pressure
socks off.
sensitive one.
Yeah, but I mean, for you gym guys, like for me, it's just like, what? In generally speaking, how unhealthy I'm.
Us
Oh,
gym
very
guys.
unhealthy. Okay, thank you.
Us gym guys. Me and Jaime right here. That's
LA
what's up.
Fitness straight up.
It's true.
24 for me, but I brought my own equipment to the show.
I
You used
wish
to
I
give
was
him-
wearing my athleisure wear.
Oh my
the-
god!
Like I was yesterday for you.
I show up.
you were the instigator of
That
that.
was the
Yeah.
best. Nicole shows. I show up and then I see Nicole. I'm like, "Hey, Nicole, what's going on?" And you like Nicole's shirt, like it's it's
I'm,
just
like,
a
wearing a
lady
crossbar.
shirt cut. But yeah, what is that called? Like when
It's
the
just a cross.
no, but it came
sleeve.
down and like went like it was. You had a
It's like
weird
a one
strap.
side.
going
Yeah,
on.
it
It
was
looked like
like
you were
some
wearing
kind
technology.
of. That's
Sling
right.
wrap. It's like
It looked
raw
like
technology.
it was some kind of weird like
Center strap.
Lilu multipass.
Multipass,
You know exactly
multipass.
what I'm talking about. That was so good. We should tell these guys.
Yes, okay.
This was good.
So our journey, it was the 3 of us, and John V was with us.
John V. Yeah, from Phone Arena.
John V. from
John
Phone
V.
Arena. So
John
it was
V.
the 4 of us in a cab going to the LG event, and all of the entrances that we were trying to get into were blocked. So the taxi driver had to figure out what the hell was going on. So we come up to one of the entrances, and the person comes up, and I take my press badge out and put it onto the window. and go,
No. The LG
what?
G5 press badge. The one, skip registration with this, guys.
Exactly.
Here.
So you don't even have to go to the check-in line or anything. They just look at the badge and go, you can go in. So I thought that it would help. So I put the badge up on the window and I went, multipass.
And it totally worked.
Are you serious?
And the guy was like,
Yes,
oh,
it
press
totally
badge.
worked.
Go
He's
ahead.
Like, go ahead. We're like, multi-pass.
And we got in and we
Got
feasted
it.
early on macaroons and
Macaroons and
croissants.
croissants.
And we
It was a
saw
good time.
Erica Griffin.
Yes, yes.
which was
And
awesome.
Erica Griffin.
And then,
Here
and
with
then
Pocket
you
this trip.
took these awesome
Erica
pictures
Griffin.
of
Oh yeah,
us.
you know,
Yeah.
do you have one
The
of them
point.
here? We can show
It's
these
in my
guys.
bag.
The phone's
Yeah.
right here.
Well, we don't have a
anyway.
very close-up shot of
Yeah, it
this
won't
product,
work,
but
but-
we have.
It's called print. Might as well call it what it is. With a
God.
Y.
Print with a
Okay,
Y.
okay. Can you please explain?
Yeah.
Well, so it's
You
it's
just
a
blew
case
my
for
mind with
it's a
that.
case for your phone that was made by a startup out of San Francisco, and crowdfund. I believe it was on Kickstarter. It could
Yeah.
be Indiegogo. It was
no,
Kickstarter.
it was
Okay.
Kickstarter. 'Cause we backed
And
it.
and it's a case. You slide your phone into it, and it connects via micro USB or Lightning, depending on what kind of phone you have, and it controls this built-in printer that prints photos built into the case. So it's all about the software. The software really makes this different because the technology for the printer is Zinc, which has been around for a while, and it's LG has a Bluetooth. Yeah, LG has a Bluetooth printer with Zinc. So, but the idea that combining like a case with this software basically makes this a really fun experience. You have a shutter button, you push it, you take a video, and it's a 5-second video with a still shot, and the still shot gets printed, and then when you hold the print in front of the app, like he's doing right now, you don't have to have the case for this, you can just use the app. It shows you the little 5-second movie you did as an AR.
Superimposed,
Yeah, as
like,
an AR thing.
on the paper.
It's
which is
pretty sweet.
crazy.
Yeah, and so because when she takes the picture, she's like, it's a living photo. It's really awkward because you're like, wait, what do I do for 5 seconds?
Oh yeah, and what
The
did you say we should do, Nicole?
Strip. So FYI, all of my print photos, everyone is stripping.
No
or
lie.
I'm stripping and you're having shock reaction face.
Yeah, I'm just reacting.
You liked it though.
Actually, in that one that we took, I was reacting to Cam just because there's a British guy. Actually, you know what was cool about this? It was like the AR stuff is all really cool, but I mean, and having a photo printed on site like it's 1993 and
Yeah.
it's a Polaroid is really cool.
Yeah.
No, because in
But
1993 it wasn't printed on
No,
site.
it totally was.
Wow.
I had one in exactly 1990. I know what I'm talking about, brother. It was the year before Star Trek Generations came out. So, like,
So
I
that's
had
what the case looks like, and you slide your phone into it like that.
Yeah.
And
It's like an oversized Lumia 1020
yeah,
sleeve.
basically, and it has its own battery, and you need to keep that charged because it doesn't want to drain your phone.
And how
'cause
many
it-
photos does it give you?
There's 10 in the magazine, and it can do 20, I think, on a charge. So
Okay, so you
you're
charge it
unlikely to run
every-
out of the thing. But the thing that's cool is the app lets you order new, more print like paper, basically right in the app. So you don't have to ever go hunting for it. You can like predict and say, send me more, and then you'll get it in like 2 days.
And that's what I love about it because it's like even though it's very convenient to get refills, it's still sort of
Still a
like
bit, yeah.
So it makes each photo a finite resource. So when you were taking that photo and
Yeah.
like printing it, I was like watching it come out of the printer and being like, I really hope I wasn't making a really stupid face because if this is a really dumb picture that I don't want seen, like I don't
Did
want
you
to.
see how it prints it out?
Yeah,
No,
and it does the animation.
I
on the
like that
screen.
moment when
Here,
the printer's
I'll
working
do it.
and it's just moving from one side to the other.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's really cool.
Ooh,
So she's gonna do one with us right now. So I'm
Podcast memories.
yeah. Well, there you go. And then I agree with you that it's a finite currency in a way, the film. But that was like, this is a throwback to the analog age, which I think
So
is
here we
amazing.
go.
Totally.
I've got a Galaxy S6 in the case here,
Digilog.
and I've got the app running.
Give me.
Thank you.
Hold on. This way. All right.
And so, I'm gonna take a photo. Let's see. You're the best lit people, so I'm
these
gonna
guys
get
have
you.
a
You
nice look
ready?
here.
Come on, you were stripping.
Do it. This is good.
Strip.
More animated.
Wait.
happens with
Wait.
drugs.
Unfortunately, Nicole was
Let's
too
try that
sexy
again.
for
I'm
this.
too
You
hot
guys
for this.
ready?
We're too
You guys
hot for
ready?
this. We're
Let's
too
do
hot
it.
for this.
Come on. No.
Keep
Not
going.
virtual. Take it off. Come on.
Keep going.
You guys are boring. I thought
gotta-
I gave you enough alcohol.
There we
Come
go.
on.
Wow, it's a party. Okay, I'm printing. Here we go. So, it'll come out of the back, and we'll be good to go. Hang on.
When Myriam first took this out at dinner, I was like, what is
What
going
is
on?
that?
What are we waiting for? And why is that so large? And what actually is
So
happening?
guess what? My battery's low.
Oh, oh, right.
Hey.
So my battery's low. So we'll have to charge it
no.
for a little bit. That's okay. I got a charger here.
But yeah, print that's great. And if I'm just saying, this is an S6 in here, so Galaxy phones and iPhones are going to work with it. So I would love to play with that some more and just have some fun with some Polaroid-esque photos.
Yeah.
I like things coming back into the real world. Things becoming physical again, tangible. Because we went to this virtual place, and I'm just glad things are back in my actual physical world. Although I am feeling inundated by too much stuff.
Yeah, that's my thing. I
maybe,
feel just completely buried in crap all the time,
Yeah.
and I really
I can help you.
less and less.
I can fix that for you. No problem.
Yeah, here, have my junk.
I'm running giveaways like a crazy person because I'm please take my stuff.
Oh,
And people are like, oh my God, a 2-year-old Shenzhen phone, I'm all in. I'm like, thank God somebody's in.
Yeah.
It was someone from the Philippines, wasn't it?
No, it's maybe.
Kamabayan, love you.
I did not immediately get that joke, but I feel bad having heard it.
Okay, well, obviously the crux of this podcast being the first one that I'm doing at MWC. And I don't know if I'm going to be as ambitious as I was at MWC and do one a day of the show.
Crazy.
Right.
Pretty
We
bad
tried that
idea.
when I was in Gadget back in the day. It's a lot of work.
It was great for CES. I had a lot of fun. And then I think Edgar's calling me. Give me 1 second, but I'm going to pose this question to you guys, and I want you guys to run with it. Edge versus module.
Ooh,
Edge versus
module.
module.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Module.
Ooh.
Wait a minute.
Are we
Edge-
talking camera or full phone?
Yeah.
Let's start with full phone.
I'm going to let Jaime speak for us on this one because
Yeah,
I've
you
been
start.
delinquent and not touched the G5 myself yet.
You haven't touched a G5 yet?
Okay,
No, I've been too
so-
busy with everything else. I've been
Okay,
too busy
so-
covering Windows
okay,
Phone,
so
man. We
for
got
the
important
record-
priorities.
He
650?
looked genuinely
All right.
upset that I didn't
All
know
right,
that.
all right. So for the record, the GeForce camera was amazing.
Yeah.
It was.
So was the GS6's camera.
Absolutely.
So was the V10. My biggest question for this event, or for MWC in general, was how could these companies improve? And obviously there are so many ways, but I think that LG actually did something more than just add megapixels or subtract and
Yeah.
add a bigger sensor. It's just, it was that moment when we were in the pre-brief, in the presentation, and they showed us people in Sagrada Familia trying to take a full photo of the church
Yeah.
and being in the corner at the edge, all duck.
'Cause I have been
Just
that person.
Just to be able to grab that shot in the viewfinder, and I have been that person too. And I'm like, they got me at that.
Yeah.
They got me at that. It's optional. I don't have to use it if I don't want to.
Right, and
but if I ever need it, thank you. It's here.
More importantly, it doesn't affect the quality of the main camera.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the animation to switch it is cool.
Yeah. So
Well, it's
so
just
for
kind
me-
of it's just a blurred out sort
I
of
like
move.
it.
Okay.
No.
It's a little
so
jarring.
for me,
Somebody
I'm
actually
not
made a gif
fan.
of me going, oh.
All right. So we were talking about
That was
stripping.
half of Nicole's video right there.
So for me, it's that. It's
Monkey sounds?
Monkey
I don't
sounds,
care about
yeah.
the camera grip. I don't care about the hi-fi audio.
But you don't. Okay, so the camera grip is
These
not.
are cool.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm not saying they're bad, but these
I
are
liked
not the
it.
things that hooked me into the phone.
Okay.
What hooked me, honestly, was number one, the design is bold. It's a change. It's different, and I liked it. One, but two, it was the camera.
Okay.
It was the option to have that and to still have that G4 camera that I loved.
See, I'm really excited. I agree with you. It's only until now that we have the equivalent of changing lenses
True.
on a phone.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I didn't get to play with it because it wasn't in the media area. The lens attachments for the Galaxy
For the
S7.
Galaxy.
I got to
so
play
you
with
play-
those.
I didn't get to play
and
with
yeah,
those.
they were
You play
very
with them.
exciting.
Oh, yeah. How were those?
Yeah, tell
To
us.
be honest, so listen, the hardware is actually really quite nicely done. It's like this spun metal with a wonderful finish, and the hardware itself is really excellent. And attaching them to the leatherette case that goes on the phone is really easy. It's just a threaded connection, and also the finish, the physical finish on that case reminds me of my father's old camera from 1980. It's that.
No way.
Yeah, seriously. So that's really cool.
Wow.
Using them, I love that they're designed specifically for that, for the optics of that phone.
Here we go.
Which is wonderful. And now we're printing, folks.
Crazy.
We are.
Listen to
Oh, you're doing the audio.
Here, we'll show you the screen. Shows you how the picture is coming out, and as you can see,
I
it's,
look crazy.
it's matching.
Scrolling
I'll
as
get
it.
B-roll. I'll get B-roll.
All right, cool. Get the B-roll.
You're gonna get the B-roll with the next bit, Robin. You are brave.
See that?
This is guerrilla style.
I
over
like
here.
the next bit, Robin, very much, but the camera is very slow to launch. But now it's working just fine.
So
that.
all you need is a bit of charge, and we're good to go. And
Look at
here's a
that.
beautiful picture
Of
you
Nicole
guys having a really good time.
mid-laugh.
I'm laughing.
Oh, that's
and Josh
adorbs.
is like, I'm dancing.
It's for you.
Oh,
What
thank
am I
you.
doing? Oh,
You're
okay.
like, I got a watch.
I'm gonna print it out.
All right, we were
All right.
talking
Here we
modular
go.
versus
Modular
Yeah.
versus edge.
Miriam, you're
Yeah.
next.
When I slapped it on there,
So,
Okay,
never mind.
I follow you.
It doesn't matter.
I love your
Jaime's the
photography
host.
on Facebook.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There's
And
a second
you're-
one.
you're
Channel is full of
mostly LG.
spite and hatred.
Well, no, I
hope
look.
you
The
block it out,
Galaxy
Josh.
S6 last year was an awesome camera, but frankly, LG outdid them with a 0.1 f-stop better, which is always going to be an improvement. And the other thing is that the manual controls on the G4 are bar none. Like the GS6, remember, I don't even know because mine is still not on Lollipop, but it wasn't until the Note 5 that we got shutter speed control and manual controls on Samsung's UI.
I think that's actually
the
right.
Galaxy
Yeah.
S6
Yeah.
and S6 Edge at launch, at least, it only had had exposure and ISO, but it didn't have shutter speed.
Yeah, they had to add
which was
a lot of that
vexing
later.
to me because I love doing these 10, 30 seconds tripod shots, and like the sky at night, Milky Way, stuff like that. And so to me, that's why I went towards the G4 more, because the manual controls and a slight better f-stop, and just I like the phone better. Like the Galaxy was just a little too iPhone-like to me, right? Now I'm over it and I'm used to it enough that I feel it's different than the iPhone, but at the time I was just like... But anyway, let's talk about the ones that came out, because I think that's much more exciting. So I got to see the G5 in San Francisco about a week ago, before Mobile Congress, for the briefing. And I was blown away. Like, all the rumors were true, first of all, which was interesting. So many leaks and rumors,
Yeah,
right?
so many
And
leaks.
they said they didn't care.
And then, yeah, that was the best part. And then the thing that kind of surprised me was the modularity was the only thing I wasn't quite expecting. I guess I hadn't read that rumor yet. And I know it's going to be a gimmick for 99% of the population, because people never even put SD cards in their phones when they have the option. And so I can see millions of people with G5s, literally millions, that don't even know the bottom piece comes out, and they
totally.
can change the battery and
Yeah.
do modules, right? Even though it's a feature of the phone. But to me, as a tech nerd, early adopter, person who's been following phones forever, this is exciting. And because that's potential. Whether it's I don't think it's gonna stay. I don't think
Probably not for the G5.
No,
But at least it opens a platform
right,
for the G6.
Exactly. I hope so.
Does it remind you of the old compact iPads, the
Kinda,
sleeves?
yeah, totally.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're now in a place where someone actually has to read the manual to fully understand their phone. To know exactly, do you recognize that how when you take that bottom panel out of the G5 and you want to take the battery off, you have to do it in a specific way.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually.
You know what I mean?
I actually had to be explained how to do it.
Exactly.
Oh my
That's what I'm
god! So
saying.
somebody actually has to watch our videos for real?
Yeah.
To like learn
jobs
something.
again.
For
We have jobs again that actually matter. Wait, what?
But back to that. So the camera is obviously got me interested because it has both a wide angle, and it's got last year's G4 camera as the regular cam, and V10 and G4. It's the same module, and it has a f/2.2 8-megapixel super wide angle. It's like 175 degrees or something.
185.
ridiculous. 185.
No, 135.
So you're
Yeah,
right.
135,
It's 135
yeah.
because it's 120 for the average human field of view,
Right.
and it
So
was
it's
a little
even then-
it's a large number.
Even
Yeah.
then, 185.
185 would be really
I was
impressive.
gonna say it's a lot,
185
right?
is you're
Whoa.
going like this and you're cranking.
That's
your
why.
neck a little.
That's why I thought
It's
it was. I
135,
thought it
you're
was.
right.
That's why I thought it was 175 because it's short of 180.
Yeah.
But anyway, the bottom line is that it's interesting because it opens up, as you said, from that demo, with the Sagrada Familia and stuff. But I think it's the kind of not the seamless. It's not seamless, but the idea that you can use the zoom, especially the dial on the modular grip, to go
I like
zoom in. And then it switches to the other lens, and you keep zooming in, and it gives you almost the impression that you have almost like a mechanical zoom.
Kind of optical zoom.
And
But
I
it's
thought-
done
I
with
thought
two
it was-
lenses, which I think is really clever.
And I thought the module was almost as good as the 1020.
the
like
the grip,
The
sorry,
grip on the
case,
1020.
yeah.
Like it was
Well,
like because like
It has a
like,
dedicated camera button. It has a jog
but
wheel.
Like, but like in hand the 1020 grip it's so comfortable.
Yes,
right. It's
yes,
it's like a part of your hand.
And it's got
It's
a
also like
1200
3 times as
and it's
thick,
a
right?
1200
yeah, and it's not as comfortable as the 1020.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the
it-
1020 has a big rubber bumper on it. Like
Yeah.
it's made
It's
to feel
made
great.
to feel great in your
Is
hand.
there a tripod mount on the LG one?
Yes.
Is
Excellent.
There?
No, there isn't.
No.
No.
Oh,
There
I thought
is.
there
Mind.
was. What were they
That's
showing me?
not
Oh,
right.
it was on the 360 cam.
You're right.
360 cam.
It's
There
on the
is
360
not.
cam. There's
That's
not.
a big omission. But the reality is that's
Yeah.
easy to fix with a LaClaw clamp
There is
thing.
Yeah, but
not.
which is scraping up all of my phones.
But back to the
Oh,
it depends on the claw. Some of
Yeah,
them
but
don't.
still.
None of us noticed that.
Yeah, none of
I
us did.
noticed.
You know, we
brought it
actually
up.
Because I
don't
wasn't even
notice
there and I
everything.
noticed.
So the bottom
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
That's all I was looking for.
The bottom line is I am intrigued by this dual lens system, but then I didn't actually know much of the GS7, and I had heard rumors that they were going to 1.7 f-stop, and I was like,
Right.
I'll believe it when I see it. And then they did. And not only did they do that, they went from 16 down to 12, which is always a good thing. And then they made the pixels 1.4 micron, which is almost the same size as the
just
pixels
about to bring that
on the Nexus 6P and F5X, which are incredible in light despite that not having OIS. And as an aside, the G5, both lenses have OIS, and the Galaxy S7 obviously has OIS. And so now we have a large sensor with big pixels, an f-stop of 1.7, and OIS on a phone, which, by the way, I checked the UI, has full manual controls, including shutter
Yes.
speed. And holy, can we swear? No. Go ahead. Holy fuck! Okay, it's like to me, like I was leaning towards G5, and I'm not a Galaxy person, and I'm kind of annoyed with TouchWiz, and
Yeah.
so
I'm not
so even
either, yeah.
I'm kind of annoyed with LG, and I always change my launchers. It doesn't really matter, but I kind of want to root for the underdog. So for me, it's kind of LG, but 1.7. F of 1.7, 1.4 micron
Also,
pixel. Are you freaking kidding me?
100
I'm on board.
Also,
Like,
every
fuck
pixel is a
yeah.
focus pixel, right? Like, what
That's
was
the
the
other
story
thing.
with that?
That's the other.
I
So
test-
someone
so they,
described
okay,
that to
so
me.
they,
I
okay, so
tested
they
the autofocus, and literally, if this is the camera, and it's focused on you guys over there, and I put my hand in front of it, by the time my hand has stopped moving, it's focused on my ring here.
I am so happy that I went to the extra demo that they gave us today. Okay, so they actually they gave me a torn apart Galaxy S7 on the table.
I love that.
I wasn't able to photograph anything. I wasn't able to show anything.
But then
did
he
what?
went.
But yeah,
Just
but
brush
they,
it off
they
the
showed
table.
me they showed me the sensor, they showed me all the internals, the battery, everything. And so, okay, each megapixel has a diode, and that's the reason why they had to reduce the pixels and bring a larger sensor in order to fit these diodes. And what these diodes do is there are 2 diodes per every pixel.
Right.
And what it does is it behaves like the human eye. If you try to focus on a specific subject with just one eye, it's not as easy or as quick for you as if you have 2. So it does pair matchup on every pixel. And what that does, go ahead.
And that's my question. Like, focus pixels are like, we've seen that on other cameras before, but
Yeah.
the whole
the
every single
whole
pixel
each pixel
is
has
capable
a diode.
of that. Okay,
Each
which is
pixel.
interesting. Now, I would think that
Whereas-
was way too much data. Like, I would think that's just crazy overkill.
Whereas, according to them, obviously Apple has never bloated on it, but according to them, the iPhone 6s only does it with like 5% of the pixels.
Right, and I
So-
wonder at what point does that become like a diminishing returns?
So
point
my-
where
my
it's like,
thing-
oh, we
my-
just
my-
built
Well,
them like
according,
this.
No, I hear what
according
you're
to them,
saying.
in a regular day over daylight, it'll be fine. Try it in low light. That's what they're saying. Try it in low light.
So I recently took the S6 Edge Plus to so Myriam and I are both using the M8, right? And the camera's killer.
Oh no, the Mate 8,
The
not
Mate
the
8.
M8.
Sorry.
Just gonna say,
The Mate
I
8,
was
Mate
about
8,
to say.
Mate 8. Sorry.
The camera is good. It's a little noisy. You can
Too
tell
much
this,
fun.
You can tell this is a small sensor because it's pretty noisy, but it's a good camera. It's
It's
like
a good
A9
camera.
kind of levels.
I was
of
about
quality.
no,
to
it's
say,
good, it's
you
good.
what, mate?
Yeah, no, sorry. So, but the thing was, I was in Tokyo. I went to the Robot Fight Club, and I had both of these, and I took video of them, and I leaned on the S6 Edge Plus because on the amazing AMOLED display, it looks so much better. But when I took everything off the camera and looked at it on my monitor, the Mate 8 actually performed better in terms of like color accuracy and detail,
Which
right?
is not
So
which is not necessarily what the average human being wants, by the way.
yeah, no, it's
Give
it's
me
true.
saturation.
Give me
Man.
saturation, and it's funny.
No,
Listen,
but it looked no,
It's
but I
funny.
get what
I-
you're saying. But like but in terms of like what I wanted to see and like show
what you
people,
were really seeing.
what I was no, I think that the S6 Edge Plus was a little oversaturated and maybe
Right.
not as.
Which is pretty typical for Samsung sensors.
Yeah.
as I
But
recall.
that's-
So my
Samsung
question is about
processors,
the
Samsung
S7. The
Yeah, I'm
camera
sorry.
blew my socks off. Right, I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I was like, crap.
Ooh.
Another beer's open.
With class.
With
Okay,
class.
next
Gonna
time.
wait to do that
Next
until I was
time,
bored.
let me
Sorry.
place the
Yeah.
microphone on top. Next
Yeah.
time, please.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, so it's actually I don't even remember. I kind of want a beer now.
You may have this one.
Yeah, can I switch out?
You
That's
have
fine.
wine.
Well, I know I don't want it anymore.
All right, give me that bottle.
Android-
You're
You know
swearing
what?
when you say that.
You know
No,
what?
I know. I didn't.
I'm
Android
gonna
Authority
move this
podcast
seat
after
over
hours.
there, Myriam, so that I don't block you.
Yes.
All right, what you doing?
So I kind of want to see the S7
Alright.
photos off the
I can
camera
sit and
or
swap over.
off the phone, like on a regular. Because like it's like we can take all the pictures we want, but it's when you kind of like take them out and then you actually look at them, whether you know if the if the quality of the photo is worthwhile.
No, totally. I know. I have seen so many photos. Remember when Tim Cook tweeted that hilariously bad Super Bowl photo
yeah.
from the iPhone 6?
The whole world remembers.
When I first looked at that, though, I looked at it on a phone with I think I looked at it on the Moto X14, which has a 5.2-inch screen, and I sort of was like going by it in the feed, and I saw that somebody ran the story. It was like the entire world LOLs at Tim Cook's hilariously bad photo, and I looked at it for like maybe 3 seconds. I was like, that's a fine photo. What is everybody
wrong
tripping
with it?
about?
Yeah.
It was only until I looked at it on a computer where I was like, oh, I
this
see
is so
exactly
bad.
how bad this is. But
Do you know what
so
they
many
should've-
photos look okay on the phone is my point.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know what they should have? You know what Apple should have done? Apple should have been like made a fake poster shot with the Apple iPhone. Blah blah blah. Like they should have done that. They should have owned it instead of trying to get people to take it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like their PR on that was really really bad. They should have made like hilarious fake billboards.
When PR panics,
Yeah.
that's not good PR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True enough. But
Yeah.
Apple is the
Well,
kind of company, I said this on the weekly last week, like the Apple is the kind of company that'll come back from that at the next Apple event, make a cheeky joke about it, and then they'll own it.
Yeah, but
they
that's
don't,
what
they don't need to
everyone
rush.
does when they're made fun of.
No, it's not, because
A year
Samsung
later?
was made fun of for a year for ripping off the micro SD card off of their phone, and also, what was the other thing? Removing waterproofing to a lesser extent. And this year, they had an opportunity to sort of poke fun of themselves, and they
Thank
were like,
you.
no, we're
Thanks.
going to be super serious about this reveal and say, like, massive innovation
Massive
is what allowed us
innovation.
to put a micro SD card in our phone.
Did they say
You
that?
are so full of shit.
Massive
Yeah.
innovation.
Yeah.
Massive
Okay,
innovation.
I will
All right,
give
wait a
you
second,
that.
wait a
That's
second.
because I wasn't there at Unpacked, to be honest.
Oh yeah, you
So-
got you
weren't there?
You had your review done in like March.
we had the rest of the team go. Narav and I did not go.
All right.
What were you doing?
Okay, by the way.
What were you doing?
I was
Sleeping.
I was at PepCom.
Hey, it's funny. I actually
Awesome.
I went to
With me.
PepCom looking for you guys.
With me.
I went to PepCom looking for you guys because you said you're going to set up podcasts, and I didn't find you.
Yeah,
So I guess you left early or something. Because we got there the
did
last
leave
hour
early.
only.
We left
I left
early
early also.
because the moment the Samsung Unpacked event was done, the rest of our team was like, "We're going home. We're not going to stay here."
Yesterday was a really busy day.
It
To
was,
be fair,
yeah.
you guys cannot.
And
be
the other thing too, you noticed there
criticized for
weren't
that.
any chairs at PepCon.
Oh, yeah.
That was the problem.
Oh, yeah.
No
That-
chairs.
That was a story.
No attendance.
So
We
did
just
you,
had a lot of fun
Did you
hanging out
not
with Nextbit.
podcast then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
sorry?
You did podcast?
No, we didn't.
You didn't.
No, this is the
that's
first.
why.
And I figured, you know what? It makes sense because this is the first day of
all good.
MWC, so I'm going to do one a day, technically. I'm ambitious.
Overachiever.
Oh, wait a
Ambitious.
second.
Day negative one.
This is the first day of MWC.
It doesn't feel like
always
it, right?
forget
I keep
that.
hitting my face with the mic.
Okay. Nicole,
Yeah.
edge or module?
Edge or module? Well, can I ask? Okay, let me ask you this before you
Yeah.
start because I
Oh,
feel like this
I
might
was-
sway you. This might
There
sway
also
you.
a couple of things I wanted to add because I wasn't quite
Go,
done.
come on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
All
the
right.
first thing
All right,
was...
I'm influenceable
Sorry.
apparently.
The first
first,
one,
you first, and I'll-
the first
I'll
one
answer that.
is
Sway
that
me.
so the GS7 kind of like, oh wow, the camera, and so it's got me really excited. But more importantly, the Edge this year is really cool because I don't know if you guys have noticed that it's edgeless almost this time, and because of that, it's a very compact 5.5-inch phone.
Yeah.
That's what got
Yeah.
me
I
really
love,
excited.
I love the 5. What is it? 5.1?
and both
two?
phones to me.
The original S7, not the Edge.
was
No,
5.1.
5.1, right?
5.1,
yeah.
At 5.1 with the curve on the back, that thing feels amazing.
Yes, it certainly
It does.
does.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It
no,
actually
no.
feels
but
smaller.
The S7 feels
pocket
amazing.
friendly.
But to me, what's interesting is that the Edge, which is smaller than the GS6 Edge, but bigger than the smaller than the GS6 Edge
We get you.
Plus,
Yes.
but bigger than the GS6 Edge.
Yes.
The GS that's
It's in the middle.
GS7 Edge is in the middle, 5.5, not 5.7,
Yeah.
not 5.1.
Yeah.
And to me, it looks smaller than 5.5 because it's
It does.
really edgeless and
When I held the S6
and
Edge Plus
in
for the
both
first
cases,
time.
they fixed the biggest problem, which is battery life, by putting a 3,000 milliamp hour
Yeah.
in the normal,
Well,
and
we'll-
a 3,600 in the
We'll
Edge.
see if they
We'll
fixed
see.
it. Yeah,
Well,
I
come
mean,
on. It's, how much was
a
the
massive
battery? on
No,
the other
Michael,
one?
It
Michael.
was 26 or 2680.
Michael,
or
That's
something like
not
that
it.
on the
Michael,
S6.
3,600 milliamp hours.
Well, let me
Come
say
on.
this: the S6 Active
Yeah,
had
it's
a-
massive.
the S6
Intensive
Active had a
screen.
3500 in it, which was great. But even then, a 3500 in the S6 Active still did not beat the Mate 8.
no,
No,
Mate
the
8
Mate
was
8
listen.
Mate 8 has a full HD display. rather than
Okay,
a quad
that's what I was
HD.
about
Which
to
I'll
say.
take
That's what I was.
a high quality panel over all this QHD bullshit. I will
Listen,
take any
listen.
day.
I
Completely
you know, let's forget about comparisons. Let's focus.
Right.
Would it be good? Was there good battery life in the S6 Active?
Yes, better.
Yes,
than-
there was.
yes.
Right. So what you want is good battery life, regardless if there's another phone that performs better. That's not
Fair.
Fair.
And then, so to me, it's interesting because in other respects, other than camera, that I think really moves the bar up yet again, whereas the GS6 moved the bar up with the G4 last year quite a bit, and in my opinion, move it past the iPhone. Even the iPhone 6S, in my
Agreed.
opinion, is not
Agreed.
as good.
Yeah, no,
Even
I
though
agree.
popularity says otherwise.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
And let's be clear, the iPhone is always a solid, reliable, consistent shooter. Always has been, and is always quite there.
Very
Good
easy to
enough.
shoot
My
with as
opinion,
well.
not at the GS6 and the G4 level.
Same
now
as-
we have the GS7, which is like just whole new
Yeah.
dimension, and then what? The rest of the phone is bringing back all kinds of things we wanted: micro SD, good battery life, waterproofing. And so to me, I feel like the GS7 is what the GS6 should have been.
There are
Other
going to
than
be
the
so
camera,
many
which
people who are
surprised me.
saying
Yeah.
that, and it's so true.
But
I
doesn't
completely
Apple
agree.
always do that? Like, doesn't Apple always do that? They always do a redesign, and then the S version is what the original should have always been.
See, I was
Typically.
about
but
to
that's
make that
exactly what
point.
the GS7
Yeah.
is in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, but
But
Samsung.
the S models are less significant because they typically only add they typically just add new features, which is fine in itself. But the S7 corrected missteps,
No.
things that were widely construed as missteps,
But so
which
does-
is more important.
Yes, but so does Apple.
In what way? I mean, how?
A 3D touch.
They
That you
reduced the battery
that you can
size
hold
on
the
the
phone any way you want.
Okay, fine. No, you're right. You owned it.
You know?
Rose gold.
So I think that, and that's why it was so. That's why I had such a good time with the S7 because I went and picked it up, knowing what they had just briefed us on, and I was like, okay, this is my first time with the S7. I expect that I'm not going to be too impressed because it looks almost exactly the same, and do I really care about half of the things they added? And then I picked it up, and I found that I forgot who said it, but how damn perfectly sized it is, given its screen to body
It's
ratio
so
and stuff.
pocketable.
It
I
is.
mean,
It's like it's
so
almost like the Moto
pocketable.
X14.
But
Only
it has
backwards.
much
What's interesting
bigger
is-
Only
Well, it has
backwards
the same size
because of the
screen.
curves.
Well, yeah, right.
While the GS7
GS6.
GS6
Yes.
and now the GS7 are very small and compact phones, and I like them for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that I'm really happy that LG went down to 5.3. That phone feels
Yeah.
really good in
With
hand.
the G5 as a
The
5.3?
The G5 is a smaller
yeah,
display.
it's 0.2
Okay,
inches
so
smaller.
I'm gonna jump in with the
Thank
with
you.
the
Yeah.
with the so I made a video that 5 things I dislike.
Really? You made a video?
On the internet?
Do you want to share them? What are the 5
things?
things?
Right, so my 5
yeah.
things
Wait a
are-
second. Wait a second. You make videos on the
I
internet?
totally make videos.
So
for
Nicole
the
made a video
internet.
called LGG5. Fuck these 5 things.
Fuck these 5 things. where I'm scratching a beat on the thumbnail, which thank you so much, Jules, for pointing that all over the internet.
I have
Thanks,
missed
Jules.
so many jokes this week.
Some things happened on the internet when you weren't looking.
What the hell, guys?
You're scratching the beat, right? Was GJ Co.
No, I'm scratching the beat with that weird scrapey line on the back of the G5, which is like, oh, it's for gripability, or I'm like that thing that I'm going to use to shave the calluses off my feet.
Where's this line? Tell me about this line. I know nothing about this. Is it on the center line?
No,
What
so
is it?
it's on the curve.
Okay,
right?
so at the bottom,
so it's not so slippy when you have it in your hand.
So there's a chamfer. There's
It's
a
sort of
chamfer.
like what HTC did on the
Chamfers.
M9 versus M8.
No.
No.
There's a
They added
chamfer. You've never seen another phone with that.
No,
There's a
it's
chamfer.
new.
That's not a chamfer. It's like a little line that was like drilled
Etched.
in the middle,
Yeah.
edged in the
back
in the
of the
bottom,
phone.
in the body, and
in
then
the
they made a
sides.
chamfer in it. But it's a chamfer that you'll never be able to scratch because it's within.
It's like
Oh,
the
it's
itch
like
you
below
can't
the surface.
scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, heavens.
Right?
No, but
and
no,
I like
it-
that.
it-
Do I?
it gives you more grip.
gives
It
you
looks
more
really
grip.
cool.
Anchor point? Okay.
It gives you more grip.
Only Nicole doesn't like it. It looks really
so
cool.
It's just
the
like only
thing
Nicole's
is-
like EMUI. We all know that. So
Your opinion is
This is
invalid.
not. No, this is not gonna. We're not gonna take up another 10 minutes on my damn podcast about EMUI, about the
God.
EMUI. We're not gonna talk about the EMUI.
No, okay, so the thing is about this kind of gripability is I hate it on some of the phones. So I think it may be like a prototype pre-production thing. Because some of them I'm like, I can scrape my freaking dry skin off with this.
True.
And then some of them I'm like, oh, this is fine. So maybe it's an issue, maybe it's not. But to me, I'm kind of so-so on that. So the other things are, God, I don't even remember.
Maybe they'll
No.
make a module.
see,
So-
you really had to.
No. Well, no. So the other thing that's really, really weird is they got rid of the antenna lines.
Oh yeah, that was
Right.
treated. I don't know if it's
with
aluminum
with
or...
like a treated metal, blah blah blah. But if you look at it, there's still plastic portions on it, and they're on the top of the phone. And one of the plastic antenna portions is right on the headphone jack. So they put plastic in a high traffic area with metal, which I do not understand.
A lot of insertion and removal.
Yes, a lot of insertion and removal.
Well,
Hard metal bits.
But there have been plenty of headphone jacks on plastic phones before.
Yeah,
so,
but
right?
why would you put metal around the entire handset and then put plastic in the one area that's going to
because
receive high traffic impact?
Well, to be honest
also
with you,
less likely to be noticed.
It may have been the only place they could get away with it.
Let me show you another phone that has that exact same problem.
But then if you're
I'm
going to...
showing it to you right now.
no.
I'm just
Look at
pulling
the
out an
plastic
iPhone
around the
6.
headphone jack.
6?
Look at the
No,
plastic.
but it's not...
iPhone, yeah.
It's
not like
It's
that.
not metal to plastic
Look at the
just
headphone
around
jack.
the socket,
I know,
and
but
then
it's
metal
slightly different
continued,
on-
and then
on-
two
Yes,
plastic
but
areas that
listen.
are not symmetrical.
But tell me
Right,
something.
for anyone who has OCD, it is the worst thing
Okay,
to look at.
Okay, this is OCD for me. Let me show it to you. These antenna
just
lines.
saying.
I prefer what LG did.
Yeah, because the
With
antenna
the
lines on
two
the iPhone
weird
are so
different
pronounced.
size antenna
This-
lines and one right
this
by
is
the headphone jack.
horrendous.
Okay, well that's super ugly. I agree.
I
it
agree.
is.
It's like
No,
it's
that's so awful. I agree. But at the same time, like, okay, I would prefer that one uniform line across
know,
the
if you
top
want OCD,
than
the
like
fact-
two non-symmetrical lines, one plastic part on the headphone jack.
The fact that they made the two camera lens things on the back look completely different. They could have had them behind a piece of glass that was.
They make them look the
No,
same.
but I-
Yeah, I
look the
guess.
same,
But I
yeah.
actually like that.
No,
This
I
is
like
the
it,
most
but you-
I like it as well. No,
podcast
no,
I've
no, but I'm
ever
just
heard.
saying,
Right?
Like, yeah.
plastic, when there's metal
Next I wanna talk
everywhere
about
else,
speaker
doesn't make
holes.
sense to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
It's-
plastic where there's
it's-
metal everywhere else, and the one place that's high traffic impact, like I don't understand that.
Maybe it's an antenna. I mean, it might be. Like
It is
a-
an antenna.
It is an
Yeah.
antenna.
I have
but-
never heard anybody picnics the way picnics.
I know,
the way
I
that
am
we
Okay,
And
being
we have got an
nitpicky.
awesome picnic
So-
going
Okay.
right
I-
now.
I
Okay,
am
you
being
wanna have-
When I
nitpicky.
started
agree.
looking
I
at
agree.
the when I started looking at the G5 and how it's made, I think that that band that's machined all the way around
Yeah.
is the antenna.
Maybe.
It's
Maybe.
actually, if we look with a magnifying glass, we'll see plastic in between those two pieces of
Yeah,
metal.
maybe.
We still have
Deep in the valley of metal that they're.
the shadow
My
of
God,
death.
so-
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
I'm going to give you a picnic right now. I did the hands-on of that phone. I spent a lot of time with all the variants, and I
Didn't
not
even
notice the
yeah.
plastic.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't notice
yeah,
when I
me
did the
neither.
hands-on, but I noticed it at the LG event.
Yeah, me neither. I spent a lot
I
of
noticed
time
at
with
the
that
LG
phone. I did not
event.
see it.
So I was doing my video with Erica, and I was like, Erica, I need one more thing I don't like about this phone. And she's like, what do you got? I'm like, I don't have anything else. And this guy beside me was just like, look at this. And I was like, look at what? And he pointed it out, and I can't unsee it. Like after he pointed it out to me, I can't unsee
So
it.
what are they? This was the
So
other
this,
second one.
so no app drawer. Like,
Oh,
EMUI. EMUI.
No. So the reason, EMUI has no app drawer, but EMUI has solid search for apps.
Oh yeah.
Right. There's a solid search key. So I don't like no app drawer on Oppo. I don't like no app drawer on a lot of different phones, but I like it on EMUI because it has solid search. How do you look for apps on the LG phone?
Maybe
I'm
you
sorry.
just
You
Google
enter
search.
it into
Maybe
Google
you just
search.
pull
That is
down.
search function.
No. You make a folder.
Which
Make
is what
a
I
damn
did.
folder.
So
No.
I
Like I'm with you
tried-
100% on this. My time with the
I
next
tried to
Robin,
double up
like
on
not
apps.
having an app drawer,
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
drives me
this
nuts.
is-
I'm
I
sorry.
tried to double up on
I
apps
wanted
in
an
their
iPhone, I would
UI,
buy
and
it.
you
Listen,
couldn't double up on
everybody's
apps. You
entitled
can't
to
do
their
an app
opinion.
drawer
I
with
guess I've been on
one
the iPhone
folder
for
and
so
then nothing
long.
at all.
I'm so used to
So,
not living
boo.
without the app drawer.
Boo.
I just love it because like it makes so much sense. It's
Why?
because
I tried
if
it.
I
No,
don't,
they had
I
it
have
in
folders
the
for apps that I use a lot, and I can organize
Oh, no.
those
Then
fine.
why would you ever want to
that's usually
hoard the
voice,
other
so I
apps
tried
that
it
you're
on-
just
tried
not
it on there.
using?
Because if I use it once a month, I don't want to reinstall it and uninstall it every once a month. So I can put it in the app drawer, and it's out of my way. But when I need it, I can go find it, and I can do it quickly because it's
And
alphabetized.
sometimes I don't know what it's called.
So you do what usual
looks
people
like.
do.
Search for
They
it,
create
yeah.
a folder that's called trash, and they
No,
throw all
and
those
that's
apps
such
in
a
there.
bullshit
That's
solution.
bullshit
This is my
solution.
number one
Okay,
complaint with like
bullshit.
iPhone, iOS management.
So
It's like,
call
oh
that
no, I've got a bunch
folder-
of crap apps. I'm going to put them in a
You
folder.
know what that
that
folder
in
is
front of
called
my
on
face
my
all the time unless I
iPhone?
put it
Okay.
in. No, that's utter garbage.
That
Garbage.
folder on my
Agreed.
iPhone is called deprecated because I like big words.
That's sick. Yeah, that's a 50-cent folder right there.
Yeah, but that's Scrabble for you. But the thing is, I totally agree with you. I think it's a cop out to create a folder, and I think that look, if you go on a normal computer, usually there is a folder in the system area that has all your apps where they live, program files on
Yes.
Windows,
True.
applications on the Mac. And really the app tray is that folder. It has every single app. If you remove an app from there, it is gone from your computer. And your desktop is the equivalent of what
You wanna see.
What the home screen is, the
screen
screen
you
board,
wanna
yeah.
see.
And on your
Absolutely.
desktop, you put
Yeah.
crap. Sometimes
Yeah.
I drop a file there or a widget because I
Listen,
need
right.
it for
So
an
I
event.
was asked
Yeah,
this
and then when
question.
I don't need it anymore, it's
Josh.
I
gone.
remove it.
Go ahead first, and then I'll.
Well, how do you respond to what LG said, which is the market research about? We assume that it's all Asians who said. I'm not making a stereotype here.
No,
this
but
is literally
there's-
what they said.
There's no app drawers. in
all of them.
Asia.
Yeah, exactly. No app drawers in Asia, but it's like, did they only ask China? Is that what they did?
I
so
will
here-
tell
okay,
you,
so here's the
I
thing.
wrote about that.
Here's
I
the
will
thing.
bring up the story.
Here's the thing. I gave my father an Idol 3. He had
Bad move.
I like the idol.
No.
Wait,
Okay, smart
what?
move.
I'm kidding.
Smart move.
My father likes the phone a lot, and so he's like, but we're on the phone. I'm obviously not there with him, and he's like, I want to remove this. I want to get rid of Facebook because I'm having issues with my ex-wife and stuff.
Yada yada.
We've
you
all
just
been
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Edit that out.
That's my father's conversation.
You don't
And
yada yada an
and
ex-wife.
so I'm like, okay, just hold down the application, wait for the interface to change, and then slide it to the top where it says uninstall.
Yeah.
Or remove.
Okay,
Right.
remove. He could never get it because every single time the phone obviously changes the UI, and what he would do was drop it in the launcher. And he would
Okay.
just end up creating shortcuts and shortcuts and shortcuts of the same app.
Right. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I feel there are companies like LG who give you the option to. There's a button at the top of the app drawer where you select. Well, there was a company called LG. You select, and then you could just minus and delete apps from the app drawer. I feel
Yeah.
that would avoid a lot of the confusion that a lot of people go through. Because whenever they want to delete an application, it's just such an ordeal on Android. Where on the iPhone, you simply hard press it, press the X, and you got rid of it.
Assuming you can hit the touch target. Like that. Like I have had that.
wait,
you know.
okay,
or
wait
if
a
you have-
second. With
or
the
if
iPhone
you-
6S, I do get what you
Yeah.
Too
said.
many of these?
Or if you have
That's every night.
So here's what
Or
I,
if you have the 6S and you
uninstall that.
press too hard and all these extra shortcuts come up,
Oh,
like what the hell is this?
that is a real life problem. Too.
Oh my god.
So here's what I wrote about that. On the software front, the G5 runs Android 6 Marshmallow and comes with LG's latest skin, which follows in Huawei's and Nextbit's footstep by dropping the app drawer this year. When pressed, LG was unable to give us a good reason for removing the app tray, so we'll just assume it's a case of EMUI fever. No matter, this is really easily
Get
remedied.
the hell out of here.
No matter, this is easily remedied by installing another launcher like Nova or Google Now.
Okay.
Agreed.
Indeed.
I
Good
have to
advice.
say this then. I have to say this. Did you guys all spend time with the S7 and the S7 Edge?
I spent time with the
A
S7.
bit.
S7.
S7 was
S7.
Did you go into okay? We did an article on Android Authority. It was
.com?
Is
Is that a website on the
Yes.
internet?
is
No,
that
no.
where you work at?
No, .tv. we did an article on the site that said, and it wasn't exclusive. I don't have the info on how we got this information. Our writer just said, "I have this information. Let's run with it." That this no app drawer will be a trend this year for across all versions
I heard
of
that
Android.
Android N is dropping
Same.
the
So
I heard
here-
the same
just-
thing.
So here,
I heard
no.
the same
Here you
thing.
go. Here it comes.
I know Michael's losing his fucking
Yeah,
mind.
here
right
it
now.
I'm
comes.
suddenly very angry.
Yes, here it comes. Here it comes. You want to know that this is going to be a real trend? This is how you know. The G5 dropped it altogether. On the S7, if you go into the settings and you go to an area called Advanced Settings, there's an area called Galaxy Lab. You go in there, and it's like Google Lab on Gmail. And it gives you two options. And it says very clearly on the top that these options may become features or go away.
Right.
Really?
One of them says, show all apps on home screen.
Huh.
And you effectively remove the app drawer. And below that option, it asks you with a smiley face or a sad face, is this feature useful for you?
Sad face that shit right up.
Okay, so
Everyone.
somebody.
No,
Somebody,
I agree.
So,
That is amazing.
There
so
needs to
somebody
be an area
asked
where
me
I can
this.
see all apps.
So somebody there was somebody
launcher.
approached me today after I came out of the Samsung briefing, and they approached me and they asked me the whole topic about the app drawer with the G5 because they asked me which was my favorite phone, and I said G5. And so the first time that I experienced no app drawer was with the Oppo. I think it was the R5.
The one that
And
we were
Oppo
with?
doesn't do
went
no
to
app
the
drawer that well.
We went to the for the R5 in Singapore.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I had ever experienced an Android phone without an app drawer. And so at first, I'm not going to lie to you, I did not like it. I come from the Windows paradigm. I've lived in that ecosystem where you press start, all programs, and they're there, or all apps, and etc. But because the iPhone has been such a thing for such a long time, and I was so exposed to the iPhone, I was like, all right. So I guess now that I have all these apps thrown on the phone because I restored it, I guess now I'm going to have to like organize my folders. Shoot. And so I actually sat down and organized them like I have on the iPhone. And so sports, TV, games, yada, yada,
Instead
yada.
of doing something more useful.
Which is the app drawer. Wait a second. And so it turns out that ever since I used that Oppo R5 and ever since subsequently, I have been... I restore my phones to whatever last backup I have, and then I start ordering them as the previous phone is. It's a trend. And wait, but this is the point that I want to make. I feel that no app drawer issue will stop becoming a problem whenever Android figures out what Apple and Oppo. By the way, Oppo is the only Android OEM that I've met that I know that can actually restore your phone to exactly the way it was after a backup. So whenever
Settings
you,
and all, logins and
all?
everything is restored just like.
Doesn't Huawei do this too?
Yeah, actually, Huawei does that as well.
Well,
thought
I
so.
wasn't aware, but
On the latest, yeah.
So what is so cool about iCloud that you restore your iPhone to a photocopy of what the previous phone was, and
is,
Oppo
yeah.
can do that on Android. If Android N can do that, I will not complain about the lack of an app drawer because
let me tell you why-
my apps are already organized. And
I have some emotions about this right now.
Go, go, go,
I have
go.
some stuff. No, okay, so
turning it off. I'm turning it off.
sorry. No. So I feel you on the organizing the app drawer, but when I look at my friends' phones when I'm anywhere, like they've got gaps on their home screen. It's
a mess.
Like, there's a
Sweetie,
mess.
But isn't that cool?
Sweetie.
Is it cool?
But isn't that cool?
It's fucking
I hate the iPhone where you
Nicole,
can't tell
Nicole.
this icon that I wanted at the top.
They are not you.
That's very annoying too.
They are not you. They
Yeah,
know
but I hate
exactly
the
where their
iPhone
apps are.
4.
though.
No, they don't.
And a lot of these
I asked them
launchers.
to do stuff, and they're like,
What I hate on the iPhone and a lot of these launchers is not so much that the difference of like the iPhone keeps everything together, and you have holes if you want.
if you have
Missing
no
teeth.
idea. Or if you don't know how to move
the biggest
icons
problem
around.
I have with a lot of these launchers when they use the home screen to put apps is you can't organize them alphabetically. Or I like my
Right.
apps alphabetically.
Yeah,
like,
me
to
too.
me,
That's the simplest way to do
basically
it.
the simplest way to do it.
Yeah. I agree.
To me, this
Okay,
is
that's-
Apple, why doesn't Apple let me do my apps alphabetically?
well. Okay,
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Agreed.
It's been
I
how many
agree.
years
On
now? Almost a decade of iOS.
on the iPhone, I agree. There should be more control over how you can manage your apps. I agree.
But that's the
here's
thing. All I do is I slide from the top, and I
I don't have that many apps.
And that's
Yeah,
excellent.
but like-
No, what is that? The spotlight
two
search.
screens
That,
and I'm
that
good.
is that is
Yeah.
excellent, and that's another reason I hate EMUI because it works really well in EMUI, but it's such a blatant freaking ripoff that I won't use it.
Well, I
I'm
don't give a
that
shit if it's a
spiteful.
blatant ripoff if
Really?
it works.
Have you noticed
It
that? Have you,
works.
Forget it.
Have you noticed
No.
that we've already
not
moved
doing
this
it.
podcast to EMUI for another 30 minutes? All right, Josh.
Here's the thing.
module or edge?
No. Before I get to that, and we've
you
gone.
want to talk about EMUI?
We've gone an hour without even answering my fucking question. But anyway, all right. But you know what? This launcher talk has to happen, and I will tell you this: I'm not as inflamed as these three. That because honestly, Jaime has not been the most like upset about this, and thank you because this is where I'm coming from with this. All right, Google, don't you dare change how Google Now Launcher is now, because if all of these other phones and Android N come out with no app drawer, we have an option. Because that's the power of Android. We have
Right.
launchers, we have
Yeah.
the way to customize everything. We can still have an app drawer
Or
if
at
we
least have a
freaking
toggle.
want.
Or have a toggle.
Or have a toggle, like Samsung does.
Yes.
Take it out of labs and put it into the regular settings. That's all we need.
And
I can deal. That's the thing. I'm a very tolerant tech
Yeah,
user.
yeah.
That's why people criticize me for not being too critical on phones. It's because I know, like for example, Nextbit Robin, wherever it went. Even though the fingerprint reader doesn't work perfectly, I have learned how to exactly
So,
press the button. To
you
make it
realize
work.
that-
Yeah, what you want to do is make sure that a product that you can hack a product into working rather than criticize it.
you
I-
realize
That's the
I
beauty
hate-
of tech.
Josh, you
I hate
realize
that
Yeah,
he-
it is.
I
you
hate that-
realize that,
Not always.
that the
I-
audience
no.
here has not ever seen two Robins in one room.
Oh,
at
there
the
you go,
same
yeah.
time.
I hate that you two have an Xbit Robin and I don't.
Well, okay.
You should have brought the one that I brought.
Shouldn't tech be as adaptable as its users?
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if the user is able to figure out how to make the phone work perfectly for them, then more power to them.
Right.
The tech works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, hold on a second. But because I can't let that go exactly because I got taken to task for my poor review of the Galaxy Galaxy S4's fingerprint reader.
It was. I'm kidding.
Because
It was terrible.
because it was
terrible.
atrocious, and then I would get comments that were
But the
upvoted
pro-
50 billion times because like, no, if you just scan your thumb 5 times as if your thumb is 5 different fingers, it works great. It was the same exact thing where it's like, oh no, if you just hack it,
But you know,
Well, let me-
but
you
you
know,
know,
then
but
it'll-
you know-
then
but
it'll
you know what
work
the
really
problem
well.
was?
It's
The
like,
problem
but
was,
no.
and the reason why I felt that the comments were unfair is because you weren't exposed as much as, like, for example, I was to Touch ID. So for you, you know,
the Galaxy S4's fingerprint scanner was nothing like Touch ID. The Galaxy S4 was
right,
just
right.
like, here, let me-
No. But what
let
I'm
me
saying is,
drag
what
this
I'm saying
thumb
is,
down
you
here.
didn't know any better. I reviewed.
Who the fuck are you?
No. He's
Scrolling you real time.
Listen, I'm actually defending you.
I don't get it.
Listen, people were hard on you because you didn't criticize it enough. I'm telling
No,
you.
people were hard on me because I criticized it hard.
Oh,
And they were like, no, you just have to hack it.
Give me more wine. Give me more wine.
1 a.m. podcasts, everyone.
So yes,
You know
we
what?
don't rehearse. this.
I will provide some defense to
Good
that.
idea.
Okay. It's YouTube comments. It's YouTube comments.
If you're having a hard weekend or a hard week, go to the comments like I do every time I record the recap, and you will end your week in a laugh.
Yes.
Really?
Some lows.
It's because
my-
he's
my
looking.
commenters are really
it's because he's
nice.
looking at somebody else's comments, not his own.
Yeah.
Anyway, I bet you half the people who commented saying you should just do it this way, you should just do it that way,
Have never
don't even
touched.
fucking have an S4.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's important to call
I mean,
out actual failings, I think.
Other than
you
the
know?
million of people who bought an S4, God forbid, who has an S4?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's one of the shittiest Samsung phones of all
I
time.
remember
cracked the
saying, and then
display
they
in,
sold
like,
it, like
11
record numbers
days.
of them. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just.
I mean,
out of
seriously,
touch.
for me, it's like this is the timeline. If I had to do that timeline of phones of the Android history of you remember, just in case you're wondering, at the Galaxy S7 event, they had these cases,
great.
these glass cases with all of the milestone phones from Samsung, from the very first kind of brick phone to like their first flip phone to like
First
MP3
MP3 phone,
and
First
camera
camera phone.
camera
Wow.
phone,
Watch
the first
phone.
Jeepers
Yes.
They
GSM
have
and
this-
CDMA phone.
Yeah, the first
They have them at
GPS.
the booth.
So awesome.
I thought because of the S7
If I
design, it
had
would
to
just be an
do-
S6.
If I had to do a history,
The first phone that looks a lot like the previous one.
If I had to do a history of the Android story of Samsung, it would go like this: Galaxy S, Galaxy S2, Galaxy S6, Galaxy S7.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And of course the notes
Exactly.
in there.
I'd make
Note
a bit-
1,
I'd make a little
and then
argument
I'd
for the
jump to
3.
Note 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I'd fight for the 3
Because
the 3
the
was
three-
No.
three did
No.
something
No.
was my
different.
favorite.
No. The 3 was your entry
It was
into
the one that
blogging. We
behaved the
discussed
best. I
this,
mean,
so
the Note
it was
4
your
was a
sweetheart.
The problem with the Note 3 is it's all plastic, and that's the biggest problem I had.
Maybe, but
Sweetheart years, sweetheart
No,
years.
not the 4 and the 5.
Right, but all the previous ones were.
We'll discuss this off air.
That was, I agree. But the thing is, even the GS2 was plastic. But it's for me, the 3 was the whole like, it's when TouchWiz went to
Nature
shit.
UX.
Yeah,
There's my camera.
it's when
I love it. Went farther than I thought it would.
it's when TouchWiz went to shit. It became bloated and over. Like we didn't need Samsung Voice. We didn't need Samsung everything.
We didn't need your hand to hover
all of
over the
it.
display.
Seriously,
Right.
yeah. So the Galaxy S2.
well, hold on.
I
You know,
remember
when women
back,
are cooking,
back in the back in the days of
Like
the
you know
Galaxy
any
S2.
of them.
I listened to podcast number Engadget Mobile podcast number 113 the other day because somebody
God.
was on it. I can't remember who now. But the thing is, I listened to it and we were debating TouchWiz during the GS2 days.
Oh, yeah.
And
GS2
I
was
liked
so
TouchWiz in the
good.
GS2
Me
GS2
too.
days.
was appreciator.
Me
And-
too.
and
That's because Android was ugly back then. It was
Yeah.
2.3.
But
yeah,
you had-
exactly.
you
It
needed
was
skin to
But
make
you
it
have
look
to
good.
remember.
So it actually
you have to remember.
innovated.
Yeah.
So-
anything below gingerbread was horrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yes.
Ice cream
Absolutely.
sandwich.
So
Really.
Absolutely.
HTC Sense
Yeah.
was gorgeous.
Exactly.
So was
Yes.
TouchWiz.
It was
Yes.
gorgeous. And Blink Feed was
But-
a revelation, but not
But
anymore.
here's the thing: the GS3 took TouchWiz and destroyed it, and
Yeah.
added so much bloat. And then they went with this like nature pebbly thing.
Nature
the
UX.
phone looked ugly to me. It's like I
Yeah.
like the squarish look. I like the squarish look to the Galaxy S6. It's a little squarish. I like the squarish look of the GS2, and then the 3 broke everything. Well, you really want squarish. The GS4, to me, the GS4 was not even an effort. It's like, let's update the spec sheet. We're done.
Yeah.
And then the GS5 was like, this is where I was expecting them to go metal. And then put
And then
OIS
they
on the camera.
didn't.
And they were like, let's take the GS4 and make it slightly more square and bump the specs.
Put a
Fuck
bunch of
you all.
pockmarks on the back.
Where's Samsung? You're gonna
It's
buy
like,
it anyways.
screw you all. And then, we'll make it waterproof, which was cool.
Which was cool.
Which was cool.
But it was
then-
the lame waterproofing
And
with
then
the cover
finally
on it.
the
With the
GS6.
gasket.
Yeah.
The GS6 was finally a real phone again. And
Yes.
TouchWiz was
It
lighter.
was.
And then
And then the
arguably-
battery would die.
Exactly. But arguably the GS7 is only kind of like it's a very evolutionary thing. It's like GS2 to GS3.
Right. But as you said before,
It's
and
completely-
GS4.
I knew that
It's
people
com-
were going to start saying that the GS7 was what the S6 should have been. And my problem with that statement is that everyone
You can say that every time.
Everyone rolls it out for everything,
Yeah.
but here it is more applicable than I've seen
I
it in
know,
a
I
long
know.
time because I think the S7 corrects so many great.
if you
so
thought the
many
S6 was a
shortcomings of the
great
S6.
phone, but it only had a few things missing, the S7 just might
Fixes
be
all that.
your perfect
So where are we
phone.
falling?
Word
Where
up.
are we falling?
Okay, so you're saying that it's the Edge.
You're saying it's the edge.
No, you asked the question, Edge or module.
No,
okay,
no.
so
I was
answer the
talking for
question.
general
Yeah.
users. I was talking for general users.
Okay.
Here's the question I was going to bring up. You go on a vacation. You decide not to bring your DSLR. You have the camera module on the G5. Do you use it?
I would.
Would that be
Yes.
Hell
your?
yeah, what
That
do you
would be
mean? Yeah.
that would be
I
your
would.
camera for the
Yeah.
entire
I-
vacation.
Absolutely.
I've already done it with the
Absolutely.
G4.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
I've gone on vacations
I've
with the
already
Moto
done it
X
with the
2014.
G4.
I'll
The
bring
G4
whatever. dude.
And there you go.
Hell
Then
yeah.
there you go.
I
You
took the
don't- you
G4 to
don't-
Burning
Hell
Man
yeah.
as my main camera, and it
You
was
bring
fantastic.
the
Yeah,
G5
hell
with
yeah.
you. That is officially your camera for the entire trip.
Yeah.
It has everything
Can
you would
do
want
it.
from a good point and shoot, and it has even the
But
interchangeable
see,
lenses.
I haven't really actually
Without the
given,
need- without the
I
need of
haven't actually
replacing
given a
them. Yeah.
verdict because then all that sounds fantastic, and I'm all ready to take the G4 and a camera grip away, and then all of a sudden I think f over 1.7, 1.4 micron pixels.
Now here's the thing.
And I'm going, fuck!
Now here's the thing. The level of difference between the G5 and the S7, I don't believe is going to be really that huge.
Autofocus speed? It's pretty good on the G4, but
Manual
G5.
focus if you have to.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm
always want to
constantly
be
running
doing
around
manual
juggling.
focus, especially if you're shooting video.
Because you know how many people manual focus their phones? You and me. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, do you really? Okay. Well, laser still does pretty well.
Give me the
It
bottle
does.
of wine.
No, it's really, I think it's a toss. It's a really tough one this year.
It's a really tough
and you know
one.
what? Thank
Agreed.
God. Right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
True.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who's
And
the
then-
only? You know who's the only loser? The iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I really hope
moment.
HTC
Agreed.
steps up its game with the M10 and we have a third phone to say, I might want to take that on a vacation.
Same.
And for
I
that
am
reason,
so
I
hopeful.
go
I wonder about that.
module. That's
You
the
go
reason why I
module.
go module.
All right.
You know, I hadn't even
G5,
thought of that.
even
The fact that this is an interchangeable lens camera that's not, meaning
Yeah.
you don't really need to interchange anything.
Right.
It's actually a smart camera in a way.
And, you know, I can just picture the G6 from LG next year. Same modular architecture compatible with modules and 3 lenses in the back.
I do have
One
to.
is wide, one is regular, one is zoom, real zoom.
Oh yeah.
And you can switch between the 3.
Arranged in a circular, like in a
Yeah,
triangular
like-
pattern inside of a
Oh,
big
that
circle.
would be
That would be
so
badass
cool.
looking.
I do have to preface. I do have to just for posterity. I do have to say something. I've been watching a lot of old podcasts because I had to go through our 1 year anniversary for the Android Authority podcast, and I ended up watching or listening to Pocket Now, to watching our old live streams. I did say that the Note 4, when we were at MWC last year, I ended up using for a few days, and I was like, I would use this over my DSLR. If I had this on me, I would be able to use this a lot. I feel the same way about the GS7. But for me, the module itself, the camera module, is the reason why I would pick the G5, because it's the comfortable grip, it's the better
Right,
battery, it's
right,
the manual controls.
right. It's
That's
the
the
grip,
reason why I
yeah.
would pick that.
I agree.
But if you give me the GS7, I will probably have an awesome time with that on a
I
vacation
mean,
too.
because I like low light photography. So this is the other thing. And I was amazed. You know, normally if Samsung's marketing makes me kind of like cringe, and then, you know, it's really pretty terrible. And then the one thing they said was totally dead on, and I was like, wow, it's so simple. I can't believe it. Nobody else has done this marketing line yet. Is saying you live half your life at night. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't your camera work as well
Yeah.
in that half of your time than it does in the other half when it's daylight? And I was like, that is, you know, that's actually the best argument I give to all these idiots. Not you guys, but a bunch of them.
All these idiots.
That are like, they're like, shit, dude, you don't really need a camera that's so good in low light.
Oh,
like, what do
yeah.
you care?
Oh,
and I'm
God,
like,
you're talking about YouTube commenters, aren't you?
yes, yes. And I'm like,
that's a good call.
exactly the opposite. Actually, I want a camera that performs better in low light than in daylight.
And do you know what's
Because
been
daylight will always be pretty decent.
Do you know what's been interesting to see is that the low light crown has been sort of passed around,
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
to arrive at Samsung, and like so many other firms had multiple opportunities to make it work. Nokia did incredible things with low light
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
back in the day.
Nokia.
HTC,
Yeah.
for all the hate the Ultra Pixel gets, it was actually really, really intense.
Your
Like,
Moto
you know,
response to HTC.
well,
So-
you know, we have a
So do
private
you know-
conversation every now and then. And you know,
Hello,
and for it
Moto.
to finally land, I think it's Hey Jarvis or something. But and every time we land on, every time Samsung has come back around and been like, okay, well the Note 4 takes really good pictures except not at night. The S5 takes really good pictures except not at night. And then the S6 came along and we're like, oh wow, cool, look at this
And
big
the
aperture.
G4
And the
we're like,
6P.
oh, wow.
And the
The
6P.
G4,
We have to
same
give
deal.
credit where credit's due.
No,
6P.
I know. No, you're right. No,
Yeah.
the 6P absolutely.
So,
And that's a low. That's a
No,
higher
so do you
micron
know-
Yes.
sensor.
Yeah,
ahead.
it almost can get away with iOS most of the time. I'm surprised, but I am still pissed off at them for not putting iOS and removing wireless freaking charging on the Nexus system.
But you know what's been really interesting for me this show is that I've given like 4 interviews because you know how I'm based in Taiwan and people are like, oh, you totally know about China. Let's ask Nicole. Right? So I'm like, yeah, too cool, guys. Let's talk about China.
what phone are you using?
Huawei. no, but so The interesting thing has always been for me when I've been commenting on Chinese manufacturers, like not necessarily like Huawei or Oppo or some of the guys who are trying to be high tier, but the guys who are really impacting like sales in the mid tier. It's that the thing that has traditionally defined mid-range phones is they can take a banging photo in good light. Like, oh my God.
Photo.
Oh, amazing photo. Yeah, a great
photo.
should I use the word great then? Great photo?
What the fuck do you do to your phones?
But like,
All right.
we all know what I do to my
Not
phones.
know.
Yeah.
It is 1:30
It is 1:30 and
we have a bottle of wine
like
and 6 cans of
6
Estrella.
cans of beer.
We have 3 remaining.
Oh dear.
You guys aren't doing it hard enough.
All right. So,
Conscious of the fact that I'm on camera.
so Michael
please.
Fisher.
Yes,
no,
what?
no. I want Nicole to finish her point.
Yeah,
Finish
yeah.
her.
Oh, sorry
No.
about that.
My point was that like the mid range is pushing the high end in like very different ways in
The
terms
premium
of
mid-range.
yeah,
Absolutely
the
it
premium
is.
mid range.
Yeah.
But low light has always been the feature that has defined the mid range in terms of like your mid range. You can do whatever you want with like your build quality, your camera in daylight, your OS, your process, everything.
But the camera
But
sucks.
if you cannot take a low light photo, you're a mid range phone,
That's
which
right.
was maybe
That's a good point.
yeah, right. So like that was to me the defining
very
moment
true.
for all of these Chinese manufacturers. They can't do low light.
Low
No.
light, bad low light is the Snapdragon 210.
Oh my God.
That's how you
Wow,
know.
that was deep.
That's how you know. You know?
That was-
Okay,
gonna
okay,
get
that was
okay.
Android Wear on a phone, right?
Okay, I gotta bring up one Qualcomm issue this show. So like this just one. So and like we talked about this earlier today. This like the Sony Xperia X came out on the 650, and everyone went mid range. But the 650 benchmarks,
Just like that.
yeah, they literally were like
We did.
like literally, I'd be like, but the 650 benchmark's as good as the 808.
Right.
Man, it's the
Right,
same
so
thing
like
as the
I'm so pissed.
the 1A9 running the 617 was the same thing. It was
The
a
problem-
mid-range
but-
phone. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, what is the
Thing
process?
runs
just
like a
banging?
champ,
What?
man.
Right.
I know.
Listen,
So like, I'm
I've
actually mad at Qualcomm for being like, wait, at the end of 2015, all the 600 series processors are going to be good, but at the beginning they're going to be
Listen,
like mid-range
you know-
last year.
you know what the
right?
problem
So like,
is?
how are we supposed to fucking recommend?
Okay, so the problem is, can we please rewind the tape?
Oh, sadness.
Let's rewind the tape. Can we please go back to the time of the Galaxy S4?
No, please save us
Sounds
from that phone.
Galaxy
Do you have to
S4
bring it up again?
and Galaxy Note 3.
yeah.
What were the processors?
Snapdragon, what was that?
Snapdragon
800.
600
Oh, right.
and
shit.
Snapdragon 800.
That's right. No,
What
801.
What
on the Note
was
3.
no 800?
Was it 800?
800.
Oh, so Note 4 that was 805.
Okay, all
That's
right. So
yeah.
what was the difference between these two processors?
It's a number.
Battery life.
You're right. It was
The
battery
800
life.
The
Yeah.
800 was more power efficient than the 600.
Far more.
Far
more.
That's the
Because
only reason.
remember the HTC One F7 with the 600 in it? Oh,
it was
Yeah, the M7 did
oh,
not
the
have a
battery
great
life.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so
I'm too drunk for this conversation.
we just
okay,
went
so
silicone.
so
600,
Qualcomm,
800, 6.
Qualcomm decided to make a switch right around.
You weren't born then for the 600. That's why.
Right.
I made a boob joke.
Please
a
continue.
really nerdy one.
No, he was talking.
Please continue.
Okay, so Qualcomm decided to make some sort of a switch right around the 615 and the 805, where the 615 became the power efficient processor that required a little more RAM to perform well, and then the 80 whatever would be like the powerhouse. And so the problem is people have this concept that anything below the 800, so the 600 processor went underwater for a while, for about a year and a half. And then it comes back, but now is the efficient processor. But it was never a bad processor.
Right, but it's a branding problem. And this
It's
is,
a
and we
branding
said this
problem.
was going to happen
This
when
is
they
exactly
went
what
from
I'm
S4
saying,
and S4
yeah.
Pro and whatever.
I missed
to
that.
the numeric thing. I miss it now too because everyone immediately dismisses anything that doesn't start with an 8.
Yeah.
And it's asinine and stupid.
It is, but the average consumer is like, I need a tablet with an octa-core processor. I'm like, dude, you're picking a MediaTek over a Qualcomm. You're in totally different leagues, dude.
While we're talking about specs, can I hit you guys with something? Jaime, and Myriam, I'm sorry, and I think you guys have.
My name is Josh.
You guys have heard this already, but I would like you guys to hear, and this audience, I believe, is primarily Android focused. So you're going to be kind of sad that this doesn't
Because that's a
exist for
metric
you.
that we can actually look at.
Well, let me hit you with the specs on a phone I went hands on with today. Okay.
God, no, don't do it.
Come
Don't-
on,
Michael.
You're
come
gonna
on.
get excited about it, and don't lie like you're not gonna.
What phone?
Snapdragon 820, 6-inch display, AMOLED.
Shut up.
Wireless charging, both Qi and PMA.
Mute my
Fast
microphone.
charging, USB Type-C. Front firing speakerphone by Bang & Olufsen, which I've never known how to say. 4 gigs of RAM, micro SD. What else? Fingerprint scanner and Retina scanner.
In addition to this, like pinpoint,
that's
16
super fast.
megapixel optimize. Well, the fingerprint scanner is the same sensors from the 6P. What? And listen,
And the eye
I'm
scanner,
almost running
like,
out of.
work-
What are the battery is 4,150 milliamp hours.
you know what
Like,
the only,
don't
you know,
tell me. I'm
you know what
done
the
with
only
these
problem
folks.
with the phone is?
But listen to me. Listen
a
to me.
huge big caveat here.
You know what the problem with this phone is?
Go.
Say it with me.
Are you ready?
Say it with me.
1, 2, 3. Windows
10
Mobile.
Mobile.
10 Mobile.
You know what? They're not launching this thing until June, and by then, I bet that OS will be just fine.
It is, and it's made by HP. You said?
It is the HP
wait a
Elite
second,
X3.
you mean-
is
you
the
mean
name of the phone I
Palm
was
Killer?
talking about. Oh, you
No. Okay,
don't bring the hate.
you know, I am with you
Yeah,
on like
yeah,
the
Lumia
Windows
buddy,
10
right? Yeah,
brethren.
Why do you have to high five in front of my face?
You two it up. You two it up. There you go. There we go.
Touching, yeah.
So the problem is that, I mean, other than Windows Mobile 10, which has its issues,
has a lot of
has
issues.
a lot of issues.
Couple.
Is like, I don't believe the camera app is going to be worthwhile on that thing. The camera hardware is going to be great, but who's going to make a good camera app for this? HP? No. Microsoft? No.
Well, at the same time, hold on.
Does it run the Lumia camera
This
app?
is a
You don't
really
like
nice
the-
apartment, right?
You don't like the.
This is
You
a
don't like the
wonderful
manual
apartment.
controls on the current
Wait a
Microsoft
second.
camera?
But that's
Michael,
the Lumia. That's the
Michael,
Lumia.
by the way,
No, but I think
It's
Michael,
a
No,
standard
but that's
thing.
been ported to all the Windows
Michael.
10
They all
mobile
support
phones.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Michael.
Any Windows 10 mobile device can use
Michael.
it. And don't tell me that
Michael.
Rich. Hold on a second. Don't tell me that Rich Capture isn't awesome.
Michael,
Capture is
Rich
awesome.
Capture
Rich
is cool
Capture
as
is
hell.
Michael.
killer. We look hot.
can you hear me?
I really
Are we
like you
done
less
talking
right
about
now. What?
Windows Mobile 10?
Android Authority.
Yes, right?
This
I'm
apartment's
just saying.
Android
Just saying. Don't tell me you're not
Authority.
drooling. Don't tell me you're not drooling.
I don't know. I think we should
A lot of
talk about
specs.
iPhone 7 rumors now.
I want to
Wait,
talk about
I've
sailfish
got one. I
for the next
totally
hour
have
and a
an
half.
iPhone 7.
Sailfish.
You ready?
You know, I have the tablet. I have the mystical Sailfish tablet.
Android
There's one.
Authority.
I have one.
You know, the original BlackBerry Bold 9000 was such a great
was the
phone.
best phone
It was
ever.
so
That.
good. I loved
talk a
it
little
so
bit about
much.
trackballs.
Do you know that it has? Do you know it has?
My trackball actually got stuck.
No, you know what? The thing that don't
See a
tell you. You
doctor
know why
about
the
that?
Bold 9000 is such a good phone?
A lot
Is
of
that
reasons.
infused in the back leather are Mike Larazidis' tears from realizing how he should have made an Android phone back then.
So sad right now.
Wait a second. I thought it was Lazaridis.
Lizard man.
All right.
Leather.
Michael, did you see the
Leatheritis.
Instagram post I made for Android Authority?
We are so good looking in that photo.
Did you read the Did you read the
What
description
photo? Show
on
me
it?
the photo.
Okay.
Yeah, what was the
We were
description?
there when they
Oh,
took it. It
oh,
was,
that
it was
one.
right after the HTC
Yeah,
event.
it was okay.
Yeah.
If-
Oh,
if
that
my-
was a sexy photo.
Yeah, that was that brick wall in the background. The
Yeah.
exposed
that was
brick.
like you guys were in jail, big.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the photo. Here's the photo.
Oh, look, jailbait,
hotter than we
jailbait.
are now.
Look at
Here's a
that.
photo, right?
Oh
Here's a
yeah.
photo.
Born,
Now-
born in the
Magic of
90s,
Instagram.
right?
If you don't
This
use
podcast,
Instagram,
podcast is a great way to illustrate this.
Everything is
Indeed.
This is what I
degenerated.
wrote. This is what I wrote on this one. It's I wrote it in the perspective of this is Android Authority talking. Always good to see friends at these shows, but these two mess around so much when they get together. It's any wonder how we in Pocket Now get any work done when they're in the same room.
the word of Josh.
Wow.
The word
This
of
is
Josh.
true.
This is true.
There's a lot of
Oh, this is
messing
from the
around
Android
going on.
Authority Instagram.
That is the AA Instagram. Yes.
AA Instagram.
Yeah, you
You
should.
know what? That's
A
exactly
plus
true.
Instagram.
We've gotten so far, and then this fool right here is Windows 10 Mobile.
Listen,
Well, so what were the
don't
comments
treat.
on
No, it's
that?
okay.
Oh, they were
very complimentary.
they were
Those are the
very-
best
All right,
commenters on the
so
internet.
Michael, could you please tell us Edge
Yeah.
or module?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, neither.
need to wrap
I
this
just
up.
want the stock S7 because that's the only thing I've handled. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Wait a second. So you've been to MWC?
MWC. No, for real. I have not gone hands-on with the G5 yet, so I can't answer. I'll let you know. But the
thing is, the slight- okay,
so
that's not
hard.
true.
It
That's
is
not true. I
so-
can
it
give
is
you
so
a
hard.
kind of a crap answer because,
Give us
given
a
the
crap
fact that I've only
answer.
handled one of them,
You only Hanseled one?
I only
Is it Zoolander
I
here?
only Hansened one of them. But the thing is, LG, from what I understand, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from what I have gleaned, LG
From what
still-
you've seen on Android Authority.
.com. From what I've seen, actually, LG has still not managed to make software that it is visually appealing in any way.
Neither is Samsung.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Yeah.
if we're talking about like comparing piles of crap, fine. But we still have to find the levels there, and I will still take Samsung.
This one's
software
slightly
over
more
LG's.
brown.
Yeah, no, I mean,
All right.
but no, like
Slightly
I,
more
I would
turny.
prefer.
Pluses.
I would prefer one over the other still, and I think it's Samsung. But I haven't used the G5, so I may change my mind on that.
That is the answer from the slightly more red than usual Michael Fisher.
Slightly more red.
Am I more crimson
yes,
than
you
usual?
are.
Just slightly.
Yes,
Just
yes.
slightly.
All right.
You're not these cans
You're
of
you're
beer.
blooming, darling.
Normally, I'm a blue guy.
You're
what do you know?
blooming.
Boston.
All right, so let's go around quickly. What's the final version, modular or GS7?
Hey, you're the only ones left. I think. Well,
No, I already. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
all
go
haven't done
G5.
it. What did you do?
I
Modular,
said the
modular,
modular.
modular.
Yeah.
So modular.
Okay,
for me.
G5.
Yeah,
Modular?
I'm actually siding with the G5 also.
And?
I mean, like, it's a tough call.
Well, okay. So is this coming from a place of LG finally brought something to a show that's different
Yes,
from before? Okay.
somewhat,
And-
but also LG's the underdog.
and
Samsung, of course. Look, Samsung owns. They make the module, they make the software, they make the firmware. They have probably 1,000 people in the camera department just on the GS7. LG also makes their own module, the firmware, and the software, but I don't think they have those kind of resources. People always think of LG and Samsung as kind of equals, but the number of phones LG sells compares to Samsung is a
order
whole
of magnitude.
Order of magnitude different. And so I'm kind of rooting for the underdog there.
so
An underdog that's doing an amazing job.
Yes.
So for me, I'm siding with the G5 because I'm not making this strictly about camera.
Okay.
Right. I'm making it about the whole package of the phone.
Right.
And I made that 5 things I hate about the G5 video because
No. The fuck these 5 things.
fuck these 5 things. Because, but you know what the most interesting thing about that video is that the comments are 99% support what I'm saying. Right, like
Yeah, they're like, I
I
Good.
agree with you,
mean,
Nicole.
99% of my comments just make fun of my name. I'm happy for you.
The top comment on that video
and
is
I'm hot.
well, okay, no
We have to
no
agree on
disagreements
that.
here. We're not going to get any arguments here. But anyway, the top comment on your video is I agree with your I agree with your criticism. NICKHOLE. Yes, you are officially Nick Hole.
So modular.
Yeah.
Lumia
Who has
650.
Words.
It's actually a nice
Words.
phone.
No, it is. It's
It's a nice
surprisingly
phone.
nice.
It's the
Modular.
I really
hasn't
can't,
held
I
the
can't give an answer
G5,
because I
so
haven't
it's-
handled the
it's-
G5.
it's siding with
I'm
the
just an
G5.
observer. I really
you're
can't.
gonna-
Look,
No, no,
I
no,
know how
fair,
it is. Like,
fair,
I haven't
fair.
handled it.
You've
I
never
can't
been
guess
an
about it.
LG guy.
Did this guy go to Mobile
Let-
Congress or did this guy go to Mobile
busy.
Congress?
Michael, you've never been an LG guy.
You're gonna though, right?
Let's
You're
just
gonna?
put it that.
You're
let's
gonna
just put
handle
it
the
that
G5.
way.
I am going to handle the
Yeah.
G5.
When are
yeah.
you out?
When am I gone?
Yeah.
In a couple days, in 3 days.
Don't
I've got
forget.
plenty of time.
Thursday.
Whatever.
What
Yeah,
number is
okay.
that?
Don't
Thursday?
Friday.
don't forget to
sorry.
fondle
We-
the
we-
G5.
I'm going to find. I'm
We're
going to
not
fondle it right
supposed to
up.
be able
Don't
to
forget-
count right now.
Well, listen, I will tell you this.
Fondle the
In a
G5.
culture where so many more people buy online without first seeing the product or handling it, I will say that
Idiots.
the G5 sort of looks like from the back, it looks like a confused space alien, and from the front, it
It's
looks
like
like a
one
space.
eye
It looks
is
like
wrong,
the spacecraft
you know?
that alien rolled up in.
It's like one eye.
Said
Okay.
said
Yeah,
said
it doesn't
Michael
look
during
great.
It looked like a
Said Michael during a random night out at the club.
Hey, that's where we
a
are.
random
right?
space alien.
See, the problem is that you're going on
Felt
looks
better too.
alone, and you haven't fondled the G5.
No doubt, and I need to fondle it. I completely agree with you.
Okay, wait a
Okay,
second.
okay,
Wait,
we just came up with the new
You don't
with the new
apply to
metric.
this question.
Look at
Yeah.
these
But
guys.
this is a good one.
Yeah, this is a good question.
What felt better in hand?
Yeah.
It's a very biased answer.
No, but I mean, like, no, because for
All
me,
right. S7 Edge.
S7, yeah, the S7.
S7
Edge.
Edge.
The S7 Edge, yeah.
With the edge?
Well,
Okay.
the edge of the S7.
Did you
both
see
of them felt better
Joshua.
than the
Interesting.
S7 Edge?
In hand, what felt better to you?
Regular S7.
A regular
Yeah,
S7.
the
I agree.
S7, yeah,
I would.
the
I think
S7.
definitely the regular S7.
I
No
just,
votes for the
I
LP
just,
on
I
this one.
love the fact that they rebrought. Is that a word?
It is now.
We brought back.
All right, so they brought back some of the old features of the Galaxy Note Edge. You know, some of those Edge,
Yeah.
Edge
software
Wait,
stuff.
wait,
The
those,
Edge- the Edge.
those Edge cases?
Putting me on edge.
So they
It's
brought,
hard. It's hard to talk.
Edgy, watch out.
It's really hard to talk about a phone that had a stroke.
Yeah, but I feel that they finally added some usefulness to the purpose of the Edge, plus the fact that it just feels small in the hand.
The edge?
No, you can't.
The edge
Tell me.
is an ergonomic failure to me. It's
backwards.
Like
This
it's
is
beautiful.
backwards.
They are beautiful phones.
They're
And
curved on the back now.
All of the Edge products, with the exception of the Note Edge, which was sort of heinous. Like,
It was horrible.
Yeah. No, they're all beautiful. All of the Galaxy S, the later generation Edge products from the Galaxy line are just gorgeous to look at. The minute I pick them up, I'm like, wow, I have very little surface area to handle this on, and though that has been improved over time, I'm still like, my fingers are just dancing around this fragile feeling thing.
Yeah.
I would much rather have
make
the
a
S7.
GIF of that
Yeah.
right now?
Just like
you
little-
gotta make a
Fondle,
just stay
fondle,
calm.
GIF. But now,
And then
but
I'll
now,
make my wide angle to regular angle sounds for you.
but now the thing that you wanted is there. The curve is on the back
It's
as
still
well.
not the same.
Yeah, the
though.
curve
It
on the
still
back of the
feels-
S7. No, it's and I actually quite like the curve on the back of the S7.
I like it too, but now I feel like there's just more phone for me to break.
Oh well, I mean, no,
There always
and you will.
And I will.
There always
that's,
is.
That's the awful part. I will.
You are the destroyer
Right.
of screens.
I am. So this is fundamentally.
Where's your
Is that
mate?
an
Where's your
Oppenheimer
mate?
joke?
I put it somewhere. Let's not show that off. No, so this is fundamentally the interesting thing for me is that that's why I bring up that's why I'm nitpicking on the G5 because it's these little things like the chamfered gripability thing, but because like when you hold the S7 in your hand, it feels better. Right, and you hold the G5, and you're just like, "This is a great phone, but it doesn't feel as good as the S7." And this is what everyone's gonna ask me, right? So there's all these emotions, and you're like, "But I like this one more, but this one feels more satisfying."
Touch can connect you to an object in a very personal way.
It is.
Jean-Luc Picard.
You are Michael Jackson
2161.
on these phones. Aren't you?
Wait a second.
You know what? I have to say, it is incredibly, it is really nice to know that we are this impassioned talking about these two phones when last year, you and I had a moment when we were talking about the only thing that made us feel good at that show, which was the HTC Vive.
No, but that's because
Yes.
that destroyed our brains.
Yeah,
because it was
that
so
rewired
awesome.
our
Yeah,
synapses
yeah,
in a
yeah.
very
For
unique
Real.
way.
Like,
In
that's
your-
what
in
like
your
made
podcast.
like
In your
I made
podcast,
like
yeah.
new friends based on the Vive experience. Where it's
Yes.
like, have you tried it? It's like, yes, I have
Oh,
tried it.
yes.
Let's talk about it for a
And
second.
then we'd like hold hands and go to the corner. Like let's hold hands and go to the corner.
podcast?
Well, here's
Yeah.
here's a question.
Yeah, I
Here's
wrote
a
a
question.
freaking article
we
about
had,
it.
we had 45 minutes together just
I know we were
geeking
like
out on camera.
freaking out
over it.
about it.
Well, here's the thing, though. I have to ask you guys. Now, that I was just bringing up that point, like, just sort of extemporaneously, I'm not going to harp on the Vive, but I want to ask. I did hear from Jeff.
Why not?
God bless Jeff.
Yeah.
God bless Jeff.
God bless Jeff.
We love
Um,
Jeff.
We do.
The demo's different this year.
They've loaded different software for the demo.
Yes.
Oh
Why are we not there?
Do you have you scheduled an appointment?
no, because I didn't know about them.
Go get it.
I
Go get it.
tried.
Did you get a demo?
it-
Did you
is
get a
it the
demo with the new
zombie one?
software?
I haven't
Did you already
done
experience
it?
it?
No.
All right,
Okay,
okay,
wait
wait
a
a
second. Wait a
No.
second. Did you do it at CES?
Yes.
Okay, then there's a new
I did
demo.
it at
Let's go,
Taipei
Michael.
Gamescon again.
Yeah, we got it.
and I got to play something called Sunshine Zombie Killer. I'm not sure if that's the real name.
In Vive?
In the Vive, yeah.
Sunshine Zombie Killer. Yes.
Ooh, we didn't play that.
There was
Zombies out.
sunshine.
Zombies out in the daylight is amazing.
Daylight zombies. Yeah, no. So I tried that one, and that was actually pretty cool.
It's like, people ask me about VR. Like, I'm definitely not VR expert, but because I worked in video games and
I was about to
They
ask you.
they
You were a
asked me
game
ab-
developer.
They asked me about VR, and I'm like, for the longest time, I was like, yeah, whatever. It's VR. Eventually, we'll get it. It's inevitable. People have been working on it since the '90s. Whatever. And I tried Oculus and I tried the gear and then it was good, but it was just like whatever. And then I put Vive on and I was like, okay, I get it.
Yep.
You got my
Same exact
attention.
experience.
This is it. And everything else I've seen so far can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
That's
right?
pretty much how I still feel about Vive.
the holodeck, guys.
then you were at the Samsung event, and they're like, "Please put your."
And I was like,
Gear
no,
VR
no,
on."
it's not Vive. No, this is shit.
It's like trying
and
to
the
taste
first thing-
cheap
and
wine.
The first thing it did, I did notice putting the stupid thing on because I hadn't put on a headset since Vive actually. Was and this is a Quad HD display and a Note 4.
Yeah, it
or
looks
Note
good.
5
Note
in
5.
there. And I'm like, pixels.
Yeah, that
And I'm like, refresh rate. And I'm like,
spoiled
shit.
for
No, and then the whole thing is if you're using Cardboard or Vive and you're not downloading the content, like who even imagines it's possible to stream VR content?
Okay, we're in a territory where I'm probably gonna cut. This is gonna be a 2-episode podcast.
Oh
right
no.
here. No, I'm not cutting the podcast. We can talk for more for
I
longer.
we gotta
actually
go.
have to go.
No, you don't.
I
No,
don't
I
even
have
know
to go.
what
No,
time
you
is
don't.
it?
There you
I have
go.
to-
You
I
look
have
in.
to go.
This
Ms.
is-
Rabot.
This is
But-
going to
Just
be.
because I let
it's
you
not-
go.
But anyway, let's
This is going to be.
the
this
bottom line is the Vive. Yeah, so you said last year was the Vive, and this year we're debating the phones, which is really cool.
Which is great.
You don't want.
We're getting closer.
Yeah, I agree.
What?
The
What'd you
phones are
say?
exciting again. Despite the fact that half of the offerings look like
Yeah,
last
ya
year,
no
but they're
queremos
not.
vino.
So anyway,
You know,
I have to. I don't have to. I have to go in a second. But before that, I have to go.
I see.
Yeah, I've had three of these beers on this here podcast.
You have to.
Okay,
do you have
okay.
to go drain the lizard?
Then
Gotta-
can I
gotta-
ask
yeah, I
this?
gotta go wring out a kidney.
Okay, I'm just. That was going to be
He's
my
draining
exit.
the lizard.
Oh yeah.
That was going to
I
be my
ruined your
exit,
segue.
talking
No, I
about how
didn't.
we are definitely impassioned about these phones, which is a refreshing change of pace.
thing-
But I brought up the Vive without. I would use the Vive as an example of how we were this impassioned last year. Okay, just really, really, really quick.
Last question.
Really, really quick.
Last question.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Impossible.
LG 360.
Cool.
That was the question that I was going to ask.
Cool,
Yeah.
but I'm more.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm more excited about what I saw Samsung bring in. That whole sphere
but-
thing seems
okay, but-
cooler. to
But no,
me.
I'm talking about the headset.
Oh, the headset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the headset.
Really?
It looks cool.
But
technically, I
yeah,
don't
the
think
quality
we'll
doesn't
deliver.
seem to
I
be
don't
there
think
for
we'll
me.
deliver.
The quality doesn't seem to be.
Yeah,
How about
no,
the
beca-
form factor? How
the
you
form-
don't have to put your damn phone in
The
it.
Yeah.
form,
That
the form
is
factor's
very
dope.
smart.
The form
That is the
factor's
way to
dope.
go.
But like honestly, when you put it on, they either need to change the casey thing that goes around your face because there's so much face gap that you
Cyclops.
the Cyclops.
Cyclops. You are Cyclops when you put that on.
Cyclopsing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like, because it will not be an immersive experience with that much daylight showing around the side.
Yeah.
I didn't
okay,
see
they
any
can
They
daylight.
can
fix
change
They can
that.
fix
They can change
They
that.
can fix
But when you look at like the lenses compared to what you get with some of these other ones, I just don't think that it's going to be in the
Vive
same
had
place.
to ship two different face
For me,
gaskets.
it's the
Yeah,
360.
exactly.
Mainly because, did you all experience this with the Gear VR within the? Oh, you weren't at the event, but they forgot to put the strap at the top of
Oh
your head,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was
and that thing just kept.
yeah sagging.
And
Yeah.
so the argument for the
It's a really good idea.
for the 360 was, all right, listen. My biggest problem is I don't like my. You're gonna feel right at home. I don't like my hair to
very
be
uncomfortable.
undone.
Because all I can think about is urine.
Yeah.
What?
You're in.
You know what? No, this is gonna go for a little bit. You can go now.
Oh, can I?
go.
No, we should
Listen,
wrap it up.
Okay,
I really have to
so,
roll.
So the
Yeah.
main argument was the fact that you would get your hair undone with the Gear VR because of how heavy,
that
how
does not
uncomfortable
happen.
it is.
The captain's
that.
to phone. The
You
captain
gotta
to
make sure
phones
to
does
preserve
not
the quaff.
Your quaff.
quaff.
PTQ.
Vanilla Ice.
Indeed. Oh yeah, some commenter was a jerk. Do you have an outro?
No.
Oh.
No, we were just we were going to do the whole Android at the end. You know
We
how
do
I
a
do.
coordinated
You know how I do,
dance.
and a coordinated say Android thing.
Okay,
Oh
let's
yeah.
do it.
Sounds like something I would only be
Michael
1/3
really needs to
into.
go. All right, very much. Okay, thank you guys very much
You're
for being
welcome.
on the podcast.
Thanks
No,
for
thank
having
you.
us.
This was
And
really
thank
great.
you.
And thank
I
you for
enjoyed
watching
this.
and listening for an hour and a half. This was really, really fun.
Yeah, thanks,
Please
everybody.
follow Nicole Scott of Mobile Geeks, Jaime and Michael, of course, from Pocket Now, and Myriam Joire. As
Oh,
I finally got
merci,
it right.
yes.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all, including Android Authority, are your source for all things
Yes.
Android. Go pee.
Thanks.
Go piss